home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
It's finally here. It's opening day for the Mariners. Seattle kicking things off at 7:10 p.m. tonight against the A's. Logan Gilbert gets the start in this one. Bump and I here live from T-Mobile, getting you ready for the season next.
Snapshot brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time. From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
This is Bump and Stacy.
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
Here we go now.
It's opening day. The bunting is out. The sun's actually kind of shining through T-Mobile Park a little bit. Bump and I live from T-Mobile ahead of the Mariners beginning their season. This one's going to be against the A's, 7:10 p.m. first pitch. Logan Gilbert on the mound. Bump, before we get to all that we have to talk about today, and we'll jump into specifics, right? What if the roster's legit? What if JP bounces back? Some what ifs coming up at 10:45. Rowland-Smith joining us. Andy McKay is going to join us. We're going to talk to a couple other folks, including Gary Hill, Mariners broadcaster. So it's a very Mariners heavy show with the exception 10:30. We obviously had the John Schneider show yesterday, so we'll catch you guys up, you Seahawks fans up with what you need to know. But otherwise, we are getting you ready. I hope it feels like spring. It feels like opening day to me today, Bump.
It feels like spring in the Northwest for sure. You know, spring where I'm from is a little different, but I've been here for about 20 years,
LA
so
spring, probably.
it's a little different. But no, the bunting is out there, like you just mentioned. We're looking at the diamond right now. The lines are all sharp. The grounds crew is getting things ready. It does. It feels like this day wasn't going to come because obviously we cover this team every single day, and we have to come up with topics and stuff, and some of it gets dry sometimes. I'm not going to lie. We talk about the same things over and over and over again, but now we get new content. We get this team out here. Logan is on the bump. Let's go get it.
I know that today, in part, is going to be about Logan, about his first start, and about the pitching. But I do just naturally want to look at the offense and want to look at Julio because, frankly, you guys, for me, when Julio steps up to the plate and every at-bat that he has today, that's who I'm going to be watching most closely. Alden Gonzalez said before the season started in a group preview for ESPN, the Mariners offense begins and ends with Julio. And I kind of want to start opening day there with Julio. Jordan Schusterman was on with us yesterday. Cut number one had this to say.
I do think that it is all about him just because the variance is so wide, and it's the curse of greatness, right? I mean, you when you see him be one of the best players in baseball, you want that to happen every month. I think we know because he's such a great center fielder, the floor for his overall production is certainly still very high. But yeah, I mean, he is the difference between this being an okay lineup and an actually good one.
The difference between this being an okay lineup and an actually good one is Julio Rodriguez. So, yeah, it's natural to start there with Julio. I liked what Jordan had to say, too, Bump, about, like, the curse of seeing greatness is that that's your new expectation for this person. Nothing else is as good.
The curse of greatness, that's one curse I wish I had in everything I did in my life.
It'd be great,
I could
right?
be cursed.
The curse of greatness.
By being great, that's awesome. But no, he's right. Julio is the only player, at least most of the time, is where – I'll have the game on, I'll be helping the kids with something, and I'm listening, right? I'm glancing at the TV and I'm listening.
Yeah.
When Julio's up to bat, I get into the dad watching the news. I stand up, my arms are behind my back, and I'm watching every single pitch and swing intently because I just want to see what he does. So it has to start with him. He is the star on this team. Now, you got another guy who just got paid, who we're going to talk about in Cal Raleigh, but it does start and end with Julio. Julio is that type of player that the energy kind of rubs off on people, right? If Julio's having a good game, everyone else feels relaxed, and you can swing freely. So, yes, Julio has to get this thing going this year. And if it doesn't start today, then so be it. I want to see it start today. But we know how this game goes, man. Ups and downs, smiles and frowns. But it'd be nice to see Julio drive one into left center and just get the party going.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's going to be just great in general to be able to see, in theory, if this offense can start hot. I think that's the number one question most people have about this team. You guys can join this conversation, obviously, on the Mac and Jack's text line anytime with your thoughts about opening day, questions about this team, 866-979-3776. This is going to be fundamentally about barring injury, I'm knocking on wood for anyone on this pitching staff, about whether the offense can keep up. That's the big question about the Mariners. Did they do enough in free agency? Can the Mariners offense keep up? Because last year we saw a great performance, 1 through 5.
Yep.
We saw all that they needed to do. The Mariners offense wasn't quite enough. We all know the story. We've talked about it for months and months and months. What can they change potentially this year? Is there a player maybe, Bump, that you look at and you go, well, maybe this version of this player or maybe this new addition can be the difference?
Well, I'm looking at Randy. I mean, Randy is the next explosive bat if we're talking about power, right? You go Julio, you got Cal. But we saw Randy have those flashes last year. And he brings this type of swagger to the game, too, this confidence that I think is essential to building chemistry and just confidence throughout the organization. So if you can get Randy going, if Randy can get himself going, I love it. One of the best things I see on Instagram every now and then, his at-bat, I forgot who he was going up against, but he, stepped out of the box, 3 times in a row, 3 balls, and then the pitcher laces one down, nice little meatball, then boom, he goes yard. Those are the kind of things that get me excited about Randy because he has the mentality and the confidence to even do that. So the swagger, the confidence, and just the way that he's performed. We saw some greatness out of Randy, too. So I'm looking at Randy, man. You got that connection in the outfield with Julio. It was the biggest acquisition in midseason last year. So if he can step up, that would be nice to see.
I know another name a lot of people are going to be looking at, J.P. Crawford. Cut number 4, here's ESPN's David Schoenfield on with us yesterday talking about J.P.'s potential bounce back.
It's got to be J.P. Crawford, right? And, he was terrific in 2023. We get it, the injuries last year, but man, if he can hit like he did in 2023 when he had power, he was getting on base, that just adds an extra bat to the lineup. And maybe he even works his way back up to the leadoff spot, like where he hit in 2023. I'm sure he'll start, 8th or 9th this year just based on what he failed to do last year. But yeah, JP that would really lengthen the lineup if he produces again.
God, I'm not necessarily, nor is David and nor is anyone else, expecting those numbers from JP. That might end up being a career high for him in a couple different categories, but can we draw a few more walks, right? The on base, can we get on base a little bit more? I keep forgetting. I mean, we talked about JP to start the show, Monday maybe, where we were like, man, I had kind of forgotten. I was looking back at his slash line. I know it's basic stats, but I'd kind of forgotten he finished at 202. I know he was hurt, but that's a primary name I'm looking at, too. JP
got to be the guy who walks into the apartment during the pre-funk in college, and he has a 24-pack. Let's get this thing going. That's JP, man. He got to get the party started at that leadoff position and just be who he has been at some point in his career, right? We look back, what was that, 2023 or 22, where he had that awesome season. And I don't need the power numbers like you mentioned. I don't think his body is built for that. If it happens, it happens. But it's more about just driving it into the outfield and getting on and bringing that energy and looking into that dugout and doing a celebration where he's showing his grill. Those are the type of things that I see as a player, right? I look at these guys and their demeanor. And you can always tell when someone's having a great game. I think we were talking to, was it Trevor May? Or maybe it was Ryan Rowland-Smith. We're talking about how you can look at a player and feel the confidence. You can see if they're tense or not. And there are times where you look at JP and all feels right. He's playing within himself. He's getting on base. He's playing solid defensively. And again, it becomes a chain reaction. JP starts doing it. Then you got Randy who does it. Julio who does it. The guys who have more of that outgoing type of personality, when they have success, I want to see it. I want them having fun, smiling, doing what they do. But, yeah, we spent a lot of time on JP. And if I had to pick one guy, I would pick JP. I went towards Randy because I'm looking at just the power. He's the next guy with the power and the heat to drive that ball out the ballpark. But, yes, JP, who is one of the leaders of this ball club, a people's champion. They love him here. It'd be awesome to see him get going. All right, let's talk about some lingering questions we have. I'm going to go back to Jordan Schusterman for this one. I think that, again, sticking with the offense, cut number 2, a big question is whether what we saw in September is real.
I do think that that's the biggest question is what we saw in September meaningful? Because they didn't make enough real changes to this roster that we are going to be like, oh, well, now they added this guy, so that's going to make a huge difference. Now, that said, Randy Arozarena is a massive piece, right? Victor Robles is a massive piece. Maybe Rowdy Tellez can be even something close to average, as a DH, right? They've gotten so little out of that DH spot in recent years. Can Garver bounce back? So I think that there's still enough talent for this team to make the postseason, absolutely.
Let's talk about a bit of what we saw in September from the Mariners. So it was a bit of a slow August, as we know, kind of a frustrating season overall. So let's compare it directly to August, even though that's one of the lowest in terms of average, 207, 315, 342 in August, 657 OPS. In September, combining with a little bit of October, 264. That was the best average of the season. 347, 433, 780 OPS, all collectively the best of the season. I mean, we saw the best of this club, 33 home runs, the most they'd hit in a single month all season. This was an offense that was able to not drastically turn things around, but really improve. Can it carry over?
It can. I mean, you got to play the game. You need a lot of things to happen. Like you mentioned, the rotation needs to stay healthy, and the position players as well. JP needs to stay healthy. Julio needs to stay healthy, and then just stick to the game plan. I don't know what Edgar Martinez is saying to these guys. I'm sure there's a lot of familiarity or similarity when it comes to the approach at the plate. No one's going to come to a ball club and just change everything about hitting a baseball. There are some things that you know to be true, but it's about knowing the individual and saying the right things at the right time to get them to get locked back in. Like I have a buddy, not even a buddy. He's my buddy now because he's the best caddy I ever had in my life. I play at Bandon Dunes every year, and every year I ask for the same caddy because right when I'm standing over the ball, he knows exactly what to say to me, and I crush you know what out of the ball, and I play some good golf. So I'm hoping Edgar is my homie Will at Bandon Dunes saying the right things at the right times to these guys to get it going. So why wouldn't it transfer over? I
Sure.
mean, there are going to be some slow days. We know how this game goes. But as long as they are solid in their approach and everyone's on the same page and they believe what they're being told, you have an opportunity to do it. But we're dealing with human beings, and human beings make mistakes.
Yeah. How important is a win on opening day? That's the last question I'm going to throw our way, right? Because, I mean, if you want to talk about the importance of every single game, here's Logan Gilbert, cut number 6, what Logan had to say about the importance of every game.
It's a big deal, and I try to keep it that way because you look back, I mean, it's frustrating, and we don't love to talk about it all the time, but we're within a game or two for the last however many years that the random Tuesday game in May could be the game that gets us in the playoffs. You know what I mean? And you have to think about it that way, especially as a starting pitcher, that if I get 33 of them and I'm watching 130, when it's my turn to have the ball, we have to win that game. That's how I have to think about it. And Dan's that old school catcher guy too, so I think we just click that way.
That the right way to look at it?
Yeah, it is. I mean, the pitchers have to sit and watch all this stuff go down. And when it's your time to shine, it is your moment. You go ahead and get it. It's like when the Hawks used to call an E-option route for me. I go, this is me. I'm the first option. I better make this work. The pitcher's got to feel that feeling once a week. And if you go out there with that mentality, that go get it, obviously you have a chance for success. Now you add on the fact that you have the best arms in the game. And then we always hear about how close this rotation is to, how they hang out with each other. They watch each other's bullpens or whatnot. They're their own unit. I describe them as the offensive linemen of a group. If you ever been in a football team in a locker room, the offensive linemen are the tightest group out there because they hold the most responsibility and they don't really get the most love. Now, pitchers, they hold responsibility and they get the love, but it's just a unique position. So, yeah, you got to go out there with that dog mentality. I'm sitting for 5 or 4 and I'm watching, and when it's my turn, I'm ready to go. And I'm sure that mentality just resonates throughout that rotation because they spend so much time together.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think you and I, and I'm sure many Mariners fans listening, have kind of settled on, look, I'm done saying it's too early. Now, that doesn't mean that you grade every single game the same way. Like, I am going to talk about a game in April. You know, let's say we get on air and it's Thursday morning and we've had a couple games to look at so far. I'm not going to come on and talk about this team like it's a finished product. Right. Absolutely not. Like, every single team is going to change, going to evolve, get better, maybe suffer injuries, whatever it is over the course of a season. But you start looking for markers. You start looking for, did Julio's at-bat look good? You know, maybe he ended up striking out, but maybe it was a tough one. Maybe it was a really competitive at-bat. Did I see a great defensive play from Ryan Bliss? Right? Like, we have some defensive questions about the infield. Did I see, maybe leave 5 days of games and maybe there's one error? That's solid. I'm okay with that. I'm very okay with that, too. I'd still be probably fine with that.
Good teams do certain things, right? And they do them consistently. Consistently doesn't mean every single game you're playing flawless, no errors, just like you mentioned, but it means that it becomes reliable. You feel like this team is reliable defensively. You feel like when you have runners in score position, you have a good chance of getting these guys in. We know that's something they struggled with last year. Yeah. So it's about taking advantage of these little opportunities that are going to present themselves throughout the course of a year, but specifically in a game. Like, you got to isolate this stuff. Right now it's opening day, so we can look at the whole season and say, oh, man, we want to feel this in June, and in September we want to feel this. But it's about being in that moment and executing in that moment and having your role players kind of pick up the slack sometimes. I'm not going to ask Ryan Bliss to be the best hitter out there. I'm not going to ask even Polanco at this moment just to be great at third base. We ain't really seen him there yet. But there are going to be times where you're going to have your shot. Most of the weight is going to be on Julio, on Randy, on Cal, on JP. But every now and then, you need a guy, a role player, to step up and pick up some slack.
Speaking of Cal, he's leading off headline rewrites, so let's get to it.
Extra, extra, read all about it.
Headline rewrites.
We must make headlines.
The real story behind the headlines in today's news with Bump and Stacy.
Headline number one, the Mariners officially announced Cal Raleigh's 6-year extension on Wednesday. What's the real headline?
That's the best kind of news dump. That's a news dump I can get behind. Bump, Cal had a statement yesterday once this news was official. I'm just going to read this paragraph in full. He said, "This place has always felt like home since I arrived here in Seattle. They took me in from day one with kindness and respect, and it's one of the top places to play in professional sports. I wanted to stay here because of the connection to the people of the Pacific Northwest and the Seattle Mariners, but I know it always doesn't work out the way you want it to. I feel blessed the Mariners gave me this opportunity, and I can't think of a better place in MLB to call home. We have a great," this is the part I thought was most interesting, "we have a great nucleus of players here and aren't far off from being bringing a World Series to Seattle. It won't be easy, but I believe ownership and management share the same vision and commitment. I won't stop working and I won't stop grinding until this city gets what it deserves, and that is a perennial playoff team and a World Series championship."
Sell it, Cal. You sell it. You got your money. You signed that piece of paper. Now it's time for you to recruit. And this is essentially what he is doing. But I like the part I like the most when he talks about just management and how he feels like they're on the same page, because that's something that we critique and talk about all the time is why aren't they spending? Why aren't they making moves? So if Cal is throwing it out there where he feels like, okay, the plans for the future are set and I think they're going to do some things to get us over the hump, that makes me feel a little better about the situation. We still need to see it. Let's not get it twisted. But when you have one of your leaders stepping in front of the mic or the camera and putting that out there, some of it has to be true.
Headline rewrites.
Headline number two, the Sweet 16, the chalkiest Sweet 16 ever, tips off at 4 p.m. today. What's the real headline?
Does Curtis Rogers have the internet bandwidth to watch opening day and Arizona at the same time? Are you going to like a tablet, a TV? What are you doing?
Well, I got to dust off one of those AOL CDs.
Of course.
And put that in.
4.0.
But I think we're going, and I know people might hate me for this, but we're going Arizona on the big TV, and then we're going Mariners on the iPad.
I can understand it.
It's only right. This is one of 62 today.
Right.
You know?
Right.
and there may not be
there may not be another.
Arizona.
Yeah, this may be the last one.
Yeah, it's going to be, we got Duke, Cooper Flag.
Big deal.
Yeah, exactly. He's only going to be like a generational player in the NBA.
Yeah.
But he's not Caleb Love. He's not Carter Bryant.
Yeah,
He's
but only
not,
people who matter think that.
He's not Tobey Owaka.
Thank
you.
you.
That's right. That's what I'm saying.
He's not. He's just going to be the number one pick in the draft.
Yeah,
but, it's a team sport, though.
It is.
Sometimes the number one pick in the draft doesn't work out.
Hey, last time Arizona played Duke in the Sweet 16, they also had the number one pick. You know what else has happened? They beat Kyrie Irving's Duke team that night.
Yeah.
That's right.
All right.
Yeah.
So,
wow, that was a while ago.
it was a long time.
Okay.
I was still in college when it happened.
That was a while ago. What was your coolest college win, both of you?
That was
Bump was probably on a team that actually won his coolest college win. I was sitting about talking in a dorm room watching the Holiday Bowl.
I think we beat the Zags and they were top 10 one year.
Okay.
Yeah, and I was the first time I was a real fan. I rushed the court with the student section. That was pretty cool.
Curtis, was that win over Kyrie's team your best win?
That was by far. I mean, if we're counting the main sports, football and basketball, definitely that. The baseball team won the College World Series my sophomore year while we were there too.
Dang.
That was pretty cool. But everybody was gone. It was during the summertime, so no one was there to celebrate.
Mine was probably, I only had one rushing the field moment. It was Jake Locker, Jermaine Kearse, that Huskies team over USC.
Yeah.
Yep. And it was a low scoring game too. It was like 16-13 or something, like 13-10. I can't quite remember. But yeah, that game. Everyone rushed the field.
Headline rewrites.
Headline 3, the Bump's Dodgers, will open the season as the biggest World Series favorites since the 2002 New York Yankees. What's the real headline?
Well, the Yankees didn't make it to a World Series in 2002.
That's right.
Love the hate. Love it.
Makes you stronger.
As I have my Mariners ball cap on today, I obviously love my Mariners, but the roots are in L.A. But listen, man, you got the roster that they have. I mean, World Series are buzz. Let's be real about this situation. The most expensive roster in the game, if not just one of them.
Yeah.
You have one of the most popular players in the world right now in Shohei. Mookie, go ahead and gain your 30 pounds back. We need you. Freddie, we need you to get healthy. I know that health situation is there. Kiki, keep bringing the swag and the mustache. You know, it's just you got a team full of ballers, so it's got World Series.
About the Dodgers payroll is, remember Hyesung Kim, the guy who everybody's hoping would come to Seattle, and the Dodgers signed him for like $28 million. He's starting the year in AAA. They paid
That's how good they are.
to be like, all right, you're going to Oklahoma City.
It's like
buddy.
you have a friend that like needs to win everything, so they buy something and then they don't even wear it or
like
use it, and you're like, you don't even want this.
But I might use it someday.
Yeah,
No,
you won't at all. You're not going to touch that.
No.
That like a TV they win. You're not even going to use it. It's going to sit in your garage. That's your garage TV now. It's 65 inches.
Garage TV.
Yeah. Oh my God, so I've mentioned too many times that I'm moving, but I don't own a TV. Okay, so
What?
I have listen. I don't. The TV that I currently have is my roommate's TV, so I have to buy a new TV. So I was deciding on sizes. I'm talking to the wrong audience. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking to an audience of people and an audience of 2 in front of me.
Easily.
That's my problem.
Easily.
I was about to turn to the text line and be like, I don't know, what's a good
If
size?
your
You know what I'm
eyes
getting at?
aren't hurting
Yes.
while watching it, it's not big enough.
My sister's boyfriend, basically my brother-in-law, he's doing what I think a lot of our listeners have done before, where he goes, yeah, we really should get a new TV. And she's like, well, we have a TV. He wants to get like, is 110 inches, 100 inches, like
Sure.
that's
It's a
obscene.
thing.
You gotta
Okay.
have a big enough wall. for
It's
that.
insane. So they have one that is like, let's say it's 80 plus inches, and he wants to get a bigger one.
Yeah.
So he's finding reasons to offload this TV, or like the TV doesn't work anymore. Maybe it broke. Maybe something's wrong with the TV. So I mentioned, I'm looking to get a TV. Maybe I can buy one from you guys. So now he's trying to give this to me. Is that too big a TV?
No.
Be
You're good.
real.
I'm being
Be so for
completely
real.
honest. It's perfect.
What is an
actually.
obscene size of a TV? Like, what's a TV size where when you go into someone's home, and pretend it's a small apartment, you go into their home and you go, what are you doing?
If it's like a one-bedroom apartment and it's an 80-inch TV,
I'm telling you right now, that's
too
what it.
big.
Thank
Yeah,
you,
that's
Curtis.
a little aggressive.
That's what I'm saying.
But you know what?
I disagree.
You know what? I would probably do that for myself, though.
Yeah.
I would definitely do that for myself.
Disagree.
I remember as a kid thinking like 50 inches was the
Obscene.
biggest TV
Yeah.
you could ever think of. And then science has evolved to where
Yes.
you've got TVs in the triple digits.
Dude, I remember, because all of us are old enough to have grown up with kind of box TVs. I remember the first time seeing a flat screen thinking like, but where
Where are all the cables?
are all the electronics? Like, how did you smash it in there? Like, how does it work?
I bought a 42-inch flat screen in 2008 for like $1,500.
And you know
Now
what?
You can get it for like 100.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I'm
Crazy.
telling you right now, I have a 42-inch TV in my Amazon cart right now, and it is $160. And I cannot believe that. It's like everything in life, including eggs, has gotten crazy expensive with the lone exception of very nice TVs. Which, yeah. Anyways, that's the lesson I've learned. Okay, so we have, again, primarily opening day, primarily Mariners Day content coming your way. I can't believe the sun's coming out at T-Mobile. It's beautiful. We are going to, though, run over what John Schneider had to say with Wyman and Bob, and that is coming your way next.
It's opening day. The 2025 Seattle Mariners season is here. Catch all the action here on Seattle Sports. Your home for the Mariners and opening day.
The smart way to improve home comfort is a new heat pump. New heat pumps from Home Comfort Alliance provide efficient heating and cooling in one unit. Upgrade today and enjoy 18 months same as cash financing and up to 15% off through March. Visit homecomfortalliance.com.
Safety comes first. When money is tight, Buc-ee's has you covered with available financing. For oil changes, wiper blades, brakes, tire rotation, tune-ups, and factory maintenance, it's Buc-ee's Complete Auto. No appointment necessary and financing's available. Check Buc-ee's.com for the location near you.
Protein, protein, protein. Everyone is trying to get protein in their diet. But we need fats too. Healthy fat, that is, like the rich, natural peanut and almond butters found at G2G protein bars. Most bars don't have it because, well, most bars aren't real food or refrigerated. Fortunately for you, We aren't most bars. At G2G, you'll find a balanced helping of protein and healthy fat. The fact that they're delicious is just the bonus. They're fast, easy, and perfect for on-the-go families. G2G protein bars. Find them in the refrigerated section at Costco.
Free consultations, no fee guarantees, 5-star reviews. JP Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains the importance of going beyond these familiar offerings.
Accident victims want an attorney, Tom, that satisfies their needs. Someone who handles those needs with the highest degree of care. Pendergast Law offers the no-fee guarantees and free consultations, but these only scratch the surface.
Okay, explain more.
We make sure that every member of our team is genuinely passionate about helping others. Customer service and communication are our top priority. It's how we take care of our clients so they always feel one step ahead of the insurance companies. Our strong reputation for high standards provides comfort and confidence when it's needed most.
Pendergast Law offers the free consultations, the no-fee guarantees, and, of course, they are 5-star rated. But what really makes them different is their genuine passion for helping others. I can't recommend them enough.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
That's PendergastLaw.com.
March is here, and Toyota of Renton and Toyota of Kirkland have teamed up to take away your car buying madness. At Toyota of Kirkland and Toyota of Renton, they have the widest selection of new and certified used inventory and the largest savings in the region. Now that's a slam dunk. The all-star staff at Toyota of Renton and Kirkland will assist you with a test drive, and you can score that car the very same day. Come see for yourself or visit online at toyotaofrenton.com or toyotaofkirkland.com.
O'Brien. Progressive knows when you own a boat or RV, it's like you're automatically on vacation, even if you're actually a marriage counselor in the middle of couples therapy. But in your mind, you're camping in Acadia, puttering around Frenchman Bay. Your boat and RV are both protected. You're lobster drenched in butter and... Uh-oh, did your clients just notice you weren't listening? Quick, do the thing where you just repeat back exactly what they said, but as a question. They bought it. Now back to Maine, earning an automatic discount bundling your boat or RV with your home or auto. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Confidence is knowing you're ready to handle whatever comes your way. That's what it feels like to take on your workday with Cintas. They make sure your AEDs are up to date, your fire extinguishers are tested and inspected, your floor mats are cleaned and delivered, and your workwear looks good, feels good, and is freshly laundered with the Cintas Apparel Plus program. So are you ready to take on today? Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Heading outdoors or on the water this weekend? Check in with Joey and Nelly on the Outdoor Line from 6 to 8 a.m. every Saturday on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
Paid political advertisement. Did you know insurance companies don't always pay what they should when your car is totaled? Too many Washington drivers are forced to accept lowball payouts or pay out of pocket for repairs their insurance should cover. But SB 5721 can change that. This bill holds insurers accountable, ensuring they provide fair vehicle valuations and cover the full cost of repairs. It also creates a simple, fast dispute resolution process so you don't have to fight alone. Stand up for fair coverage. Visit fairautoclaims.com to contact your lawmakers and tell them support Senate Bill 5721, sponsored by the Washington Independent Collision Repairers Association.
Bracket busted? Don't worry, Madness Maniacs, you still have a shot at winning. Head to seattlesports.com/win to fill out your 16-team bracket. It's not too late to join in on the fun. It's the Seattle Sports Bracket Bucks presented by Muckleshoot Casino Resort. And the winner of the 16-team competition will win a $500 Visa gift card. Register and find complete rules at seattlesports.com/win. Seattle Sports Bracket Bucks, presented by Muckleshoot Casino.
Mike Rowe here with a quick question. Have you noticed a musty smell in your home? I hope not, because damp smells mean that you could have a crawl space problem. That's where Groundworks comes in. They can honestly assess your situation and create a plan to waterproof your crawl space and get to the root cause of the problem. Schedule your free inspection at groundworks.com/row. And while you're there, check out my latest dirty job. It's a good one.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
At Uline, they know firsthand the road to success is an uphill climb. Uline started in the family basement, and through hard work is now North America's most trusted shipping and industrial supplier. They get what it means to have the support of reliable, hard-working partners. So they keep 41,000 items ready to ship. Whether your company is still in a basement office or expanding cross-country, Uline will be there on your road to success. Visit uline.com.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Jumping right back into the Mariners coming up at 10:45, 15 minutes from now, with some what-ifs for the season. Rowland-Smith joining us at 11 before we get to any of that. We do have to touch on some Seahawks stuff because we have some updates. The latest from the John Schneider Show on yesterday with Wyman and Bob. Let's just start going through the cuts right now. We'll start with cut number 9 on what phase 2 of free agency looks like.
Basically, phase 2 already, really started last week. We signed DeAnthony Bell early this week from Cleveland, really good special teams player. At the worst, we have a really good core special teams guy. And Saubert, the tight end from San Francisco, Clint had him. Good special teams player, like tough dude. Brian Schneider was coaching him last year on special teams, loved him as well. So you're kind of in that, like, okay, what's the fit? What's the role? What's the level of compensation? And you have some players, some agents that are still, holding out hope for, a certain level, maybe it's post-draft, certain level of compensation.
I feel like these are where some of the best signings for teams come from, right? It'll be a Zach Bond for Philly.
Mm-hmm.
This guy was a special teamer or like a really solid backup somewhere else, and we brought him in, and it ends up being like a major contributor. I can't remember if Julian Love was really a phase 2 guy. He might have been, an early free agency signing because he was a starter. He was a starter for the Giants and really solid. But those kinds of guys where you least expect the contributions to come from are the ones that can surprise you.
Yeah, these are the guys who are going to play a few snaps. Like DeAnthony, I believe he played like 320-something special team snaps and about 20-something defensive snaps. And you got a guy, Saubert, am I saying his name correctly?
I've been saying Saubert.
Saubert, okay. And we got a guy like Saubert who only has about 47 career receptions in his 8 or 7 years in the game, but he holds value because he does the dirty things. And DeAnthony's going to be a special teams guy. You need those. And Sauter's going to be a guy who is in when you want to run the football and sell that. So, yeah, these are the picks that you're not going to really appreciate them until they make that one or two big play. Until you see that tight end crack back on the linebacker, blow it up, and then K9 can get loose. Can't even crack back no more. Can't call it that because that's illegal. When he just goes against the grain and blocks the linebacker and breaks one open. When DeAnthony recovers a muff punt or something like that. These are the plays or players that you appreciate only when it happens. These aren't the ones that I'm getting texts about or you're texting me about or Curtis are texting me about, but these are important, man. Role players, you need them when you have 22 ball players on the field and 53 on the roster.
All right, let's go to potential change to the free agency process. Cut number 10, take a listen.
Pittsburgh presented an opportunity, a rule change that says, hey, during that negotiating period, you can get on a hour-long Zoom call, with the prospect and and the agent, which I think is a really cool idea because as we've talked about before, you're spending that kind of money, you really want to, look somebody in the eye and, have them talk through their injury history or, if they've had some issues off the field or what have you. You want to be able to really talk through it with the person.
Do you think that could mean more signings? I mean, maybe even if it's just for the Seahawks.
I think it means better efficiency when it comes to signing. You feel better about the signing. I touched on the rule during 4-down territory, I think, last week, and I'm all for it. If you're going to invest so much money in an individual, you can look at them on paper and figure out who they are. You can watch the film and see what attributes they have, but you want to look them in the eye and really feel who that person is. When I bought my truck, man, they let me take it home. I think it was at my house for like 4 hours, man. I'm driving it, just feeling it. If I'm going to spend this money on a truck, I want to spend some time with it, and I'm all for that, man. It just makes it a more efficient process. You're still going to miss.
Yeah.
There are guys who are still going to tell you everything you want to hear, and it's going to look good, and it's not going to work out, but I think that gives you just a better chance to feel more comfortable spending the type of money that you do when you acquire these players.
All right, let's go to what I think is some really good news about the draft. Cut number 11.
Actually, much further ahead at this point last year in the their draft process because they were all coming in last year, just getting used to everybody installing all their stuff, implementing all their stuff, getting used to the IT guys, the video people, getting ready for everything. So we're just they've done a great job with the video interviews, which we study like crazy. They're about an hour long, so we'll have those on while we're studying film. And so we've just gotten through. That's where we are. Trent and Matt Berry, Nolan, myself. We've just basically got through the board like a second time, kind of a sweep before we go to the owners meeting. Then we'll come back, a little bit more free agency and kind of loop through that again too.
You know, Bump, I know that all eyes are on free agency, and sometimes all eyes are on the names and players you didn't sign, right? We've been talking about where are the offensive linemen? You signed one swing tackle. Where are the guards? Where are the guards? And yet, I think that when you start thinking about some of what this team's going to have to work with moving forward, I am personally really excited for the draft.
Yeah, I am too. I think there are waves in the offseason. And the first wave is probably the most exciting one because you look at veterans who's available and you know what they can do, right? They have a proven track record in the league, so those get you more hyped up about it. When you start, digging deep and trying to find these diamonds in the rough, that's where people have a bit more questions. And then I feel like when you get into the draft and the potential of these young players is what really drives people crazy and gets them excited. So you go through like mixed emotions when you're when you go through an offseason. You're hoping your team go ahead and gets the best quarterback that's available. Guess what? They did that. Whether you like it or not, the Hawks did that. Then you're going and hoping, man, they need an offensive lineman. Got to get Will Fries. That doesn't happen. So now you're like, oh, what are they doing? So you look towards the draft to kind of fill in some gaps. I never expect a rookie, a guy who is drafted, to be an immediate impact player. Even though we see those guys. Justin Jefferson was that. Jamar Chase was that. Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, yeah. But when you're drafting at the 18th spot, the chances of finding that guy is rare. But you can find a guy that you can develop for a year or two, and hopefully he can be a starter for you. But then you can go into the 5th round. Was that Abe? Was a 5th rounder, 4th rounder? And you can get lucky there. So there's so many scenarios that can be played out during a draft, but it's more about the potential of this young player. So I think the excitement should be ramping back up again when it comes to the Seahawks and the possibility of this roster.
It's not like McDonald wasn't there for the draft or even in the couple months leading up to it last year. I think he was hired in, late January?
February.
It was like
February?
it was like a week before the Super Bowl.
Okay. So obviously he was still there through March, you know what I mean? April leading up to the draft. But what kind of difference do you think a year of him being there and a year of these two knowing each other makes?
It's you can look at where you succeeded and where you thought you failed and where you were just okay and have honest conversations, because it's almost like I would imagine that first year you're filling each other out. Like, what can I say? What can't I say? What does he mean when he says this? What does he understand what I mean when I say this? Like, there's a filling out period that's going on. They're still learning things about each other and how they operate and what works and what doesn't work. But it's not like they're going in blind anymore. It's not like you're afraid to say certain things. Not even afraid, but just hesitant out of respect because you don't know how the other's going to respond to that. And now you understand how each person evaluates a player, too. I bet right now, John Schneider can look at a player and say, Mike will love him. Or Mike can say the same, I think John would really like him. Going into this is more like, all right, what do you think? Is this the type of player that you want? So just familiarity, man, it's always good. And I think that just smooths out the process a bit more and maybe even speeds it up. I bet you they can even go on a board and say, no, we don't like this guy. And both be on the same page. There are some where they're going to butt heads, and that's not even doesn't even mean there's conflict. It just means that, all right, I want to fight for this guy because I like him, and I don't like this guy here. Even conflict gets easier to deal with. So I think it's just spending time with each other. And I would assume these guys spend a lot of time with each other, and they should, because they're responsible for building this team.
I know we talk about NIL when it comes to sometimes conference realignment, even though the two are mostly unrelated. But certainly when we've talked about March Madness and, when we talk about, the lack of Cinderella stories, when we talk about players leaving for other teams, every time we've talked about the Pac-10, players leaving Washington State, for instance, we've always had conversations about NIL. And no, it's something that so many listeners care about. And I've always been curious, and I know you have, Bump. Well, how does it start to bleed its way into the NFL? How does it change evaluation? Does it impact it in any way? Does it matter to coaches? Does it matter to GMs? Or is it just how stuff works in college now? Cut number 14, Schneider talks about using it as an evaluation tool.
I think it's really helped, understanding what their passion is and what the love of the game and what team means to them. And several players in this draft that have darn good football players that have awesome interviews. That they're presenting themselves great in a really great manner, strong manner, and they've made 10, 12, 13 million dollars already. And I mean it's pretty cool. 2 cars. There's a guy getting interviewed, and he's like, the interviewer's like, okay, if you jump in your car, what kind of music's playing? Like, I mean, do you have a truck or a car? And the guy's like, I have both. It's like, okay.
The times have changed.
Times have changed. I think it's good in a sense that you know where their values are. When you give a young person millions of dollars, you figure out right now what's important to them. Is it taking care of their family? Is it the materialistic things? And then can you handle it? Are you out in the club going crazy, shirts off, buying bottles at the bar? Yeah, you go and have your fun. I'm not saying you don't do that, but what's the extent of that? Can they trust you with money in the city? Because everyone's going to know who you are. If they don't know who you are, they're going to see this big, swole athlete over there and be like, well, he must play for some type of ball club. So I like that John takes that approach to this, because he could be an angry, older, middle-aged man and saying, this is wild, these kids are getting at it. It is wild and good for those kids, but use it to your advantage. And most GMs, I feel like, should and are looking at it that way, because there's nothing you're going to be able to do about it. You can gain more information, more insight on a player's personality after they got that money, because you get to see what's important to them.
What if it's a game we're playing when it comes to this Mariners team coming your way next?
It's opening day. The 2025 Seattle Mariners season is here. Catch all the action here on Seattle Sports, your home for the Mariners and opening day.
Asset Roofing was founded with the aim of shielding the community from liabilities that may arise from hiring a contractor. Bob Stelton here, and I love their slogan. You're either hiring an asset or you're hiring a liability. Now, I've been there, and you probably have too. Hiring a contractor that showed up late, delivered shoddy work, or went over budget. Asset Roofing is the opposite of a bad contractor. Their business model is to deliver honest and transparent solutions, becoming a valuable asset for both clients and their communities. Now, I experienced it firsthand when I met Anthony, the owner, and then again when I had him do work on my roof. Now, these guys are the best in the business, and I highly recommend Asset Roofing to local homeowners. Now, this spring, replace your aging roof with Asset Roofing. Ask them about their specialty, metal roofs. You're either hiring a liability or you're hiring an asset. Check them out at assetroofingco.com. That's assetroofingco.com.
Certified work that's never in doubt. Asset Roofing, excellence is on the house.
Making fresh produce and food affordable and accessible to all is a mission Safeway is deeply committed to. G. Scott here. Your local Safeway has all the great benefits that SNAP-eligible families love, plus exclusive savings. Right now, save 50% on Fresh Pass memberships, plus get a monthly $5 credit, free unlimited delivery, $10 of free produce, and double rewards. Check out your Safeway For You app for all details and savings, or visit Safeway.com/SNAP for details.
1-877 Cards for Kids. KARS Cards for Kids. 1-877 Cards for Kids. Donate your card today.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate your car today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car, running or not, can be picked up as soon as the next day. You'll get a maximum tax deduction and a vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Bonneville, Seattle, and Seattle Sports are looking for organizations that regularly distribute information about employment opportunities to job applicants or have job applicants to refer. If your organization would like to receive notifications of job vacancies, please notify Human Resources at 1820 Eastlake Avenue East, Seattle, Washington 98102, or email us at seattlealljobs@bonneville.com. or call 206-726-6902. Bonneville is an equal opportunity employer.
Are insurance companies taking you for a ride? Literally? Don't let them destroy your financial future. If you've been in a car crash, Just Cause Legal is your weapon against greedy insurers. They don't care about you, but Just Cause Legal does. Time is running out. Get the compensation you deserve. Call 253-859-8899 now or visit justcauselegal.com. Don't wait until it's too late. Take back control and fight for what's yours. Meet your legal lifesavers. Just Cause Legal, fighting for you.
The John Schneider Show.
Every Thursday until draft day on Wyman and Bob.
Listen live Thursdays at 4 p.m. or watch the interviews on the Seattle Sports YouTube page.
Did you know colon cancer can be detected early or prevented through regular screening?
I have detected Around Earth is the greatest lie ever.
Okay, Roger. My uncle just passed away and I inherited his cockatoo, Roger. He was a member of the Flat Earth Society, so Roger picked up on some of his rhetoric. Anyway, screening, such as a colonoscopy.
Screen these! Screen these!
Roger that, Roger. Moving on. Colonoscopies can detect early-stage colon or rectal cancer or even polyps, which are abnormal growths that can turn into cancer over time.
I'm a flat earth walker.
Come on, Roger. What did I do to my uncle to deserve you? You don't get to choose what you inherit, just like colon cancer. Unlike Roger here, I believe in science. And science says that if colon cancer runs in your family, you're more likely to develop it yourself. Talk to your doctor about when you should start screening. Find out more at coloncancercoalition.org. A message from the Colon Cancer Coalition.
Get ready for an unforgettable adventure at LeMay, America's car museum in Tacoma. Marvel at over 300 world-class automobiles and 100 years of history. Don't miss the Shinka exhibit, featuring nearly 50 iconic Japanese sports cars. Feel the thrill of driving a Formula One car on the exhilarating race simulators. There's fun for everyone, so grab your friends or the whole family and plan your visit Thursday to Monday. Learn more at americascarmuseum.org.
We've all been there. Sleepless nights, mind racing, wondering if your business's security service is really protecting what matters. At Bay Alarm, we can put your security insecurities to bed. Video security, burglar alarms, fire alarms, access control, 24/7 monitoring, and more. Our advanced technology and personalized support ensure you can rest easy, knowing we're here for you, your people, and your business. Visit bayalarm.com to talk to a local security expert. Bay Alarm, we got you.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Playing some What If with the Mariners. Bumpin' I live from T-Mobile. Curtis is here too. And Justin, but Justin left the room. And we are ahead of opening day. The sun's out. Is it supposed to rain today? I don't know what's happening. It's beautiful.
There's supposed to be a tornado yesterday.
I know, but it never touched down. Well, I did get, did you guys get lightning? I got a lot of lightning.
Yeah, I got lightning.
A little bit.
And it was like pretty frequent. Like I kept thinking, this is my stupid reaction. I kept thinking, because I live across from a baseball park, oh, it must be one of the lights that's going out over and over. Like you know when your mind just goes to the dumbest possible thing to excuse something you're seeing? Like I remember when I was in elementary school and there was that big earthquake that was here in the Pacific Northwest, the Nisqually quake, I think. I thought someone walked into the room and was shaking the room, and so I turned around to look at the door. That's like
the entire room.
I don't know, like maybe just someone was walking in. I have no idea what was happening. I'm just saying sometimes your first thought of something, you know, like I got stung by a bee on my neck and I thought it was a scorpion. Like it's just stupid. It doesn't make any sense. That was me yesterday with the lightning going, God, this light keeps flickering right outside our window.
My phone says there's a 35% chance of rain.
Okay, I'll take those. I'll take those chances. I know that's right around first pitch, but it is gorgeous here at opening day. The bunting is out.
Bunting.
Looking very, very beautiful today at T-Mobile. We're playing a little game of What If. So what if, and then we're going to look at a couple things that could end up impacting the roster, how much those things might impact the roster. So for instance, what if JP bounces back?
If JP bounces back, that means that the starter of all things is here. I know we're looking at Julio. He is the guy. He needs to get things going himself. But if JP gets things going, that means that the beginning two games just feels a lot easier. Maybe not even the beginning. Maybe, you know, it goes 0 for 1 to start the game. But when you get to the top of the order, you feel like things are set up for guys like Julio and Randy and Cal to really produce some runs. And that's exactly what you want. If JP bounces back, man, I think, as a lot of people think who have been texting into our show, that this team has a good chance to get some offense going. I mean, that's been the biggest struggle the last couple of years is producing runs. Why not start off with a guy who should lead it off?
I know one of the critiques I've heard about this team in the offseason is that it feels like they need a lot of what-ifs to happen. And I'm not saying all of these will, but some of them might. And I think it's kind of fun to explore, you know, what if the thing we're hoping to happen happens? Or what if you get a bit of a surprise from someone you're not expecting? For instance, Bump, what's like a what if that you found yourself wondering ahead of the season?
What if Ryan Bliss holds down that second base spot, figures out how to hit the fastball, and becomes the like electric player I think he can be. My man is fast as heck. You know he's going to steal bags and whatnot. He struggled a little bit defensively during spring training, but he can clean that up. But what if? What if he becomes one of those role players? I always go back to Swaggerty back in the day, a couple years ago, and the plays he would make, right? Catching a baseball that's in the stands up against the net. Right, stealing third base, just the little things that gets the dugout excited and just locked into the game. If Ryan Bliss could be that, I think you're looking at the bottom of the order and you're feeling like there could be a spark, some electricity down there.
Well, I think it changes an entire conversation about the team and about team building, right? If Ryan Bliss ends up looking really solid and being a great contributor, he no longer counts toward a conversation about, this team kind of looking for cheap options or not doing enough. And granted, I would love this team to spend as much as, they can to make this a World Series club, because it does make the path easier. When you can buy talent, it makes it easier than just counting on developing talent, period. There is a positive correlation between spending and postseason success and appearances. It does not guarantee anything. In fact, you can find many top spenders who have sometimes playoff droughts or experience a lot of struggle. But it's a fair argument that I see, and I'm never going to chastise ever someone for saying I wish they'd spend more. However, sometimes in having that conversation, we can forget excitement about development, and we can forget that, like, well, maybe this story of a young player doesn't have to be, oh, that's who they're turning to. It could be, well, that's who they believe in. Like, I think it lets you have a different kind of conversation about a player, to be excited about a young player, right? To be excited about development, about his potential, rather than just saying, this is who you have.
Yeah, it can go from, all right, this was our only option, to this is the guy we wanted to be out there.
Yeah.
This is a guy who earned that position. And that's what I hope it becomes, because that means that, he was acquired through a trade, but he's been here for a little bit. And it means that what they're doing down in the minors are producing players like Ryan Bliss. We know what they do with the arms. There's no doubt about that. We hear about it all the time. We praise them for that. But something that they struggle with are developing these position players and having them come up here and have success. It's going to be tough for Bliss. He's had some good moments and bad moments, but you're right. If he can come out here and look like he's part of the team and not just a guy filling a void temporarily, it points in the right direction to development. And that's what this team needs, because we know they're not going to go out there and spend big on proven players.
What if, and this could end up being the most important one, what if Julio hits 30 home runs, 35 home runs? Are we looking at a playoff team?
Oh, for sure. Julio, 35 and steals 30 bags, right? We're looking at a young man who's driving in runs and who is taking care of the middle of the order, right? A guy who is playing with confidence. We know when he plays with confidence, his team plays with confidence. A guy who is living up to his contract, because we know that there are a lot of people who feel like he hasn't lived up to his contract yet. There's just a lot of pressure on this guy. And if he does that, that means that he's not feeling the pressure, right? He's embracing it, and that's just part of who he is at this point. It's essential that he does. If he doesn't ball out, and you don't have to be an expert to know this, if he doesn't ball out, this team doesn't stand a chance. Here's a question that I am seeing on the text line, Stacy.
Yes, okay.
Do you think JP still leads off, or do you think they're going to go in a different direction?
Would it be Robles?
It'd
I think
probably
it'll
be
be
Robles.
Robles.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was.
I would put JP ninth.
I think
Like, kind of have, like, turning over the order with, that's what I would do.
Yeah.
That's what baseball manager.
The skip. The skip.
Skipper Stacy. I would be I'd get ejected second inning.
I think you would have fun with the uniform, though.
Oh, absolutely. I know the starting pitcher gets to decide, but I'd be like, Logan, I'm so sorry, but I'm choosing today and every day.
Would you go high socks, Stacy, or would you go with the baggy pants?
She's going baggy pants.
Baggy pants.
Yeah,
obviously.
She's going baggy all day.
But
Very
I'm wearing baggy pants right now. I don't think I own anything that is my size, frankly. I think that that's where I'd put Robles and JP, and I like that lineup. I think the reason I liked this exercise in general, and you had some other really good ones I didn't get to, so we'll get back to it later, but I feel like it's just, if there ever is a day where you start looking at the what ifs and just let yourself wonder, it doesn't mean you aren't critical. It doesn't mean you can't be critical. It just means that you also let yourself open to the possibility. Your Ryan Bliss example is perfect. open yourself up to the possibility that someone could impress me in a way I'm not expecting, right?
You got to
that could happen.
Be like a child when you thought you're going to be president. What if I was president? You know, obviously all of us ain't president, but there's an innocence and like a uniqueness and just fun imagining what things could be. Reality's going to hit in a month or so. So let's keep the optimism up as of today, opening day.
Ryan Rowland-Smith, speaking of opening day, joining us next.
It's opening day. The 2025 Seattle Mariners season is here. Catch all the action here on Seattle Sports. Your home for the Mariners and opening day.
Hey, it's Jason Rance. I'm here with our local tax expert and advocate, Greg Nunn of None Better Tax Resolution. When you're dealing with business owners and the idea that they owe money to the IRS and they feel like they might be letting their staff down and it just spirals out of control.
One thing I see with businesses, it's really tough because they have employees and maybe they're having a difficult time with the cash flow of the business. Then unfortunately, what a business often does is they quit making their payroll tax deposits, which is really about the worst thing you could be doing. I mean, it's a telltale sign if you're doing that. Hey, get someone that can help you kind of look at your business and see if things can be changed so that you can operate your business better and make those payroll tax deposits. Because let me tell you this, the IRS is on those right away.
If you're having trouble with the IRS, you have to call Greg Nunn of None Better Tax Resolution. From stress to success with IRS Solutions. 425-947-1967 or Google NUNN. None Better Tax Resolution.
Ladies, and you guys too, have you noticed visible signs of aging, those deep wrinkles, fine lines, and facial creases stealing your youthful glow? Sagging skin, crow's feet, and loss of facial contour are all natural effects of aging, but you no longer have to let them define your appearance. Introducing the New Skin Lift, the groundbreaking facelift led by Dr. Brian Scott. The advanced New Skin Lift addresses key signs of facial aging for women and men, restoring natural youthful contours. Whether it's replenishing volume lost over time or lifting the skin to smooth out those creases, the New Skin Lift can help you look 10 to 20 years younger with both surgical and non-surgical options. It's Hollywood's best kept secret and now available to you. Get a free consultation and save $250 off your New Skin facelift. Schedule at newskinlift.com or 206-222-1225. Look 10 to 20 years younger and restore your youthful appearance with the New Skin facelift. newskinlift.com.
Window Nation customers have been singing our praises for years. With fast, local service and an industry-leading 96% customer satisfaction rating, it's no wonder.
I researched window companies for the last year to see what the average prices were and the quality of work. Window Nation nailed both.
Get 2 windows free with every 2 you buy. Pay no interest for 2 full years. Hurry, this offer ends soon. Schedule a free estimate now. Call 866-90-NATION or visit windownation.com. That's 866-90-NATION.
Safety comes first. When money is tight, don't neglect maintenance on your vehicle. Keep it safe. At Bucky's Complete Auto, we have you covered with available financing. For over 50 years, Bucky's Complete Auto has been servicing and repairing cars and trucks with modern-day technology and good old-fashioned customer service. There's a Bucky's just about everywhere for oil changes, wiper blades, brakes, tire rotation, tune-ups, and factory maintenance. No appointment necessary and financing's available. Check Bucky's.com for the location near you.
The smart way to improve home comfort is a new heat pump. New heat pumps from Home Comfort Alliance provide efficient heating and cooling in one unit. Upgrade today and enjoy 18 months same as cash financing and up to 15% off through March. Visit homecomfortalliance.com.
Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest. The best place to watch all your favorite sports. Featuring wall-to-wall viewing screens, 6 windows, and 30 kiosks. Be there at emeraldqueen.com. Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest.
Mariners baseball is officially back. Don't miss the biggest games at T-Mobile Park this season, like marquee matchups against the Yankees and Dodgers. Ichiro Hall of Fame weekend, August 8th through 10th. 6 fireworks nights and a stacked lineup of bobbleheads, Funko Pops, and exclusive giveaways. Plus, with Mariners value games, you can score seats starting at $10 on select dates all season long. Go to mariners.com/tickets to lock in your seats today.
A deep blast. This is gone. Home run, Julio.
Joe Montana here. In my football days, I knew the importance of a strong defense. Now I'm sharing how you can help defend your health against pneumococcal pneumonia and invasive pneumococcal disease. Are you 50 or older like me? The CDC now recommends vaccination against pneumococcal disease. Even if you're healthy, your age puts you at increased risk and over 6 times greater risk of hospitalization with pneumococcal pneumonia than adults under 50. Schedule your appointment today at vaxassist.com.
Sponsored by Pfizer.
Confidence is knowing you're ready to handle whatever comes your way. That's what it feels like to take on your workday with Cintas. They make sure your AEDs are up to date, your fire extinguishers are tested and inspected, your floor mats are cleaned and delivered, and your workwear looks good, feels good, and is freshly laundered with the Cintas Apparel Plus program. So are you ready to take on today? Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Let's go!
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
From ESPN's Buster Olney, the Blue Jays have made another offer in their negotiations with Vlad Guerrero Jr., though a gap still remains on both sides. News from the AL West, Cam Smith, the Astros' #1 prospect, has made their opening day roster. He was acquired as part of that trade for Kyle Tucker. While the Astros were reportedly open to breaking camp with Smith on the roster, it's still newsworthy. He was the number 14 overall pick just last year and has only 32 minor league games under his belt.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time. From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
this is Bump and Stacy
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
Here we go now. Ryan Rowland-Smith joining us now on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline for opening day. Ryan, how's it going?
I'm fantastic. Happy opening day, guys.
It's beautiful here, by the way. Like I am just staring out at like a surprisingly sunny T-Mobile Park, and they're getting everything ready for it. And I am going to start with that kind of ceremonial, sentimental question of just how you feel. Do you feel special with opening day? Is it always something that you feel sentimental about, or is it just kind of another day at work for you?
No, it gets sentimental for sure. It's a special day as a player, and even a day like today, going there day one, I had a chance to pitch opening day at the home opener at T-Mobile, and there's all these, there's the celebrations, there's all this that goes on before the game, and you're looking around and you're having those moments, and you're like, oh, hold on a minute, I'm going to get these big league hitters out, and these numbers they count. So you have to kind of flick it on pretty quickly because you can get caught up in everything. But no, it's a really special day, and I feel like too. I heard you guys talking before I came on about the light flickering across the street, Stacy. You are kidding. That was actually lightning. But I feel like the sun comes out at some point every opening day. The weather's nice, and then it kind of goes back to, being March, April, and then it starts to warm up slowly. But whatever it is, the sun comes out. It's a special day, that's for sure.
Hey, Ryan, there's obviously a different type of pressure for Logan being on the mound today, his first opening day. But what about stars like Julio? I mean, is it easier for, infielders, outfielders to kind of keep it in perspective and take it for what it is? Or do you feel like a guy like Julio, who has all these expectations, is feeling a little bit of the nerves too? Yeah,
look, I talked to you guys about this, last week with Julio Rodriguez. You can look at it a couple different ways. And for him, personally, he gets caught up, and it's a good thing, and he can take it on and absorb all the pageantry and the ceremonies and everything prior and being the superstar and everything else. But he can absorb that. There is that one thing that I'm looking at with him, especially as we get going and we're talking third series, fourth series. What are the at-bats like? Is there that sense of urgency? Is there that frustration that kind of leaks out? And then all of a sudden that little voice comes up and sits on his shoulder and says, hey, yeah, you are capable of struggling, believe it or not, like you did a little bit last year. You're capable of trying so hard to drive the ball out of the ballpark, and it's just not happening, and looking up and not having the same home run rate as some of his peers. However, watching him in spring training and listening to him talk, and the other part, 2025, where he's at in his career, if you can get through what he got through last year, and he had a good year, don't get me wrong, But there was a point last year where, man, there was a lot of question marks. What does this look like for the future? Is he going to be that superstar? And that big question mark got sort of, labeled on him. When he worked his way through that and the way he finished, that is just an absolute, telltale sign that he can go through, 40, 50 at-bats where he scuffles a little bit and be just okay. As long as, look, he doesn't have to get off to a rocket start, but just get that good mindset going. Don't get to Series 3, Series 4 once opening day is done and all this other stuff, and then start to think, oh, man, what if I go through the same slow start last year, especially on the power numbers?
Hey, Ryan, one thing I always wonder when it comes to players, particularly players who have all the potential in the world but can kind of hit slumps or get in their own head, is about all the voices they might be listening to, especially in today's game, right? Like, not only do you have, your own team's analytics department or multiple voices within your own organization, but maybe you've got your private hitting coach, maybe you've got your friends, maybe you've got players who are friends in the league. I'm wondering whether you think, maybe that's been an issue for someone like Julio before, or it made me wonder about the impact that Edgar might have. Like, does he become a more prominent voice they listen to a little more?
Yeah, it's a great point. We saw that last year, and I think the Mariners, and nothing against Brant Brown, I'm sure he's an absolute genius when it comes to hitting. But the problem they had last year, when you've got an athlete like Julio Rodriguez, he does have his hitting coach that he confides in, he trusts the advice. And on top of that, you got your own voices in your head, plus you've got social media. I guarantee you, especially in today's generation, they're constantly flicking through people's comments, expectations, put on MLB Network and listen to everyone give their opinion, their analysis, and everything that goes on with it. And there's no guessing anymore, man. You can literally sit there with an iPad and be given digestible information, which is so heavily data-driven on every little millimeter of your swing. And so with all that being said, with someone like Julio Rodriguez, it's not about the process. It's about just being an athlete. I think this year is a little bit different. That's part of the learning I said last year that he went through, and those voices, and just kind of quieting those voices. The best thing he can do is get private hitting coach Edgar Martinez, Kevin Seitzer, the new hitting coach, put them on a group text and say, hey, man, this is what I'm saying. Flick a video on that group text and say, hey, this is what I'm seeing. And so they all can kind of give opinion, or they all can say, hey, look, it looks like this. And when you do that and you collaborate that way, then you get the one voice. Then the outcome becomes, it's not this, you're having this conversation 10 a.m. with your private hitting coaches across the other side of the country watching the video, yet you've got Edgar Martinez sitting on the top step of the dugout, and you get that message at 2 p.m. You get them all on that same, collaboration, and you're only going to get one voice. I think that's super important. And look, again, man, I think with Julio, he's so athletic. We all know that. The potential is through the roof. Just simplify everything. He did that last year. He came out of some of the over-processing we saw, the beginning of last year, the second-guessing. He's going to be fine. If we can get that for 4 out of the 6 months, you guys talked about what-ifs before I jumped on. The what-ifs are not that – they're not that foreign. It's not a situation where Julio had a killer year 2 years ago, then last year he hit 180 and only hit 10 home runs. I mean, it's literally, it's a month away from having a 6-month MVP type season from Julio Rodriguez.
We were talking about just supporting players, right? There are guys that you're not going to expect much out of, but when they do have those big games and big moments, it's encouraging, and it takes some pressure off, the guys who you are expecting to have 25 to 30 bombs. Who on this roster do you feel like has the potential to be that guy? I'm really interested to see Bliss and see what he does, because he shows some flashes, and I think those guys are necessary. Is there anybody that you're looking at that you feel like can and should be that guy?
Well, I think, give Ryan Bliss, give him some leash, give him some leeway, give him a chance to find himself that at-bat number 3, at-bat number 4, and the biggest thing, I'll just talk about him real quickly, and I'll get to a couple other guys, but the biggest thing with Ryan Bliss, you come into this, you've made opening day, you're feeling good about it, it's a special day for you, but you're constantly looking over your shoulder because it's that glass half empty feel of, you know what, you made the team, we had a gap to fill, and you were the guy, you had a good spring, but we're anticipating in this first little batch of games, and this is what you get in your head, right? you feel like this is the opinion. We're anticipating some struggles. We're anticipating you being overwhelmed. And so all of a sudden you feel like that and you're only 15 games in and you're looking over your shoulder and then you start pressing and then all of a sudden you get derailed. So I think if Ryan Bliss, you give him a little bit of leash, you let him, be a little bit freer on the bases, the dude can run. Let him just be a little bit loose and say, hey, well, you got plenty of time, and this is your spot. This is your spot. Just go do your thing. I think he can really thrive. Now, the guy who I think that we sometimes overlook, especially offensively, and especially if he can get consistent at-bats against lefties, because it looks like he's going to play every day, is Luke Raley. I mean, I watched him last year, and there was a situation where it was a little bit more inconsistent left on left. But righties, man, he did really good things. And he had this one period there where he was struggling with pitches in the middle, because he was crushing mistakes. But he was getting mistakes, and he was kind of doing that over-processing. Same thing we saw with Julio Rodriguez. But here's another guy. He's not fighting for that the three, being a fourth outfielder, trying to fight for that third spot in the lineup. They're like, hey, here's first base. You got to play first base, play some decent defense. You got to play every day, and you're going to play against lefties. I'm telling you right now, when you have that kind of confidence, because you know that you're going to play every day, good things happen. So I can see Luke Raley having a good year. And obviously Robles and Randy Arozarena, man, you get a good, solid 6 months of their capability. There is all kinds of threats up and down this lineup.
You mentioned Raley as someone in the lineup that we sometimes overlook. I don't think you're wrong at all. And in fact, you mentioning these names is going to make me pay even closer attention. It feels silly to ask, Ryan, given the high regard in which we hold so many of these starters. Is there a starter or maybe even someone in the bullpen that you feel like, you know what, this guy, for how much we talk about this group, kind of gets lost in the mix and we kind of overlook, his contributions a bit? Maybe someone that you have higher expectations for this year. Well,
I'm going to go with a guy who everyone kind of labels as being the sixth starter, and they fill in. I had a chat to talk to him yesterday. Emerson, he's going to be on my show next week, Emerson Hancock. And just talking to him, during the interview and before the interview, it's this mindset, and it's funny because sometimes I get lost in this too. I'm like, oh, yeah, well, he kind of knows where his place is. But from his perspective, he's like, no, I'm staying here all year, right? There's going to be some injuries. There's going to be a situation where they may have to push some starts around. Emerson Hancock, man, if he can get to a place where he is killing it, and then all of a sudden it becomes this audition for him, those last couple starts, if you are him, your whole goal is to make this decision difficult for this team. Make it difficult for this team. The other thing that does as well is it lets the front office take a little bit more time with George Kirby. Now, I want to see George Kirby back. Those shoulder injuries are tricky. He played catch the other day. It's easy because you're in a training environment like spring training around your buddies. Everyone's playing catch every day in front of you, so you tend to try and rush a little bit, or you tend to get a little bit more optimistic. I think George Kirby's going to take a little longer than what we think. And so if I'm Emerson Hancock, if I'm in his shoes right now, I'm looking at this saying, you know what? Initially, I thought I was going to have, 5, 6 starts. I might have 10 starts. Once I get to start 7, 8, 9, 10, I want to make this extremely difficult for this team to make a move with me. And that should be his whole motivation. But I just think with Emerson, just talking to him yesterday, and again, this is not something where he was, trying to sell the soap. He doesn't need to. And what I saw from the end of last year, I think he's going to be an impact. And I really, really hope good things can happen and he makes some force him to make some tough decisions here in about middle of May.
Ryan, naturally, we focus on the players, right? Who we expect to have good years, who can support, what's Julio feeling, what's Logan feeling. But there are some guys I feel like are feeling some heat and some pressure too, or whatever they're feeling. Dan Wilson, you got Hollander, and you have DePoto. What do you think their emotions are like as they look at this roster that they've constructed? They've told the fans, like, look, this is going to be a good year. These guys are going to bounce back. What do you think is going through their minds?
Well, I think that kind of well, first of all, to answer your question in regards to the pressure and the heat and everything else, I think more so, Justin Hollander and Jerry DePoto, as we all know, because there's this narrative that gets thrown around about the off season. Everyone starts to cling on to that. So they're feeling that pressure. However, in the last couple of days, locking up Cal Raleigh the way they did, and I know this has been something that I guarantee have talked for more than a couple of weeks. This has been an ongoing conversation. When you can get a caliber of player, not only on the field but off the field, in the clubhouse, how he affects the pitching staff, how he affects, from a leadership standpoint, some of the younger players, what he does on the field, how he just evolves every single year and gets a little bit more mature. When you can lock him up days before opening day, right, when you're talking about feeling the heat from fans or whether it be ownership or anything like that, that was massive. That took leaps and bounds. Not only does it do that, and I've heard a lot of chatter about this too, if you're one of these core players, I'll throw a Logan Gilbert in there especially, I'll throw a George Kirby, I'll throw even a Bryce Miller in there as well. When you see that and you see your boy Cal Raleigh, who you love throwing to, and by the way, you contribute 32 starts of 200-plus innings and making an all-star team if you're Logan Gilbert. You've known this guy since you guys, were pups down in A-ball. All of a sudden, you start wanting to have that dialogue a little bit more to say, I want to stick around a little bit longer. And that kind of investment, man, goes so much further than just dollars and cents. So I think in regards to feeling the heat, yeah, sure. But I think there's some good vibes right now. And on the other side of this, too, I'll be real quick. But when you're Cal Raleigh, you're going to be here long term. There's not going to be any funny business because you're going to have a front office feeling heat from fans or whatever, and you're the captain of this ship, which he is, right? Especially he touches so many different parts of this roster. Man, all of a sudden the way you interact with front office coaches, players, fans completely changes. And I think that's a huge thing. So that was massive, man. I can't speak highly enough about the fact that Cal Raleigh's locked up, for so many different reasons. I'm sure you guys have talked about it a lot, before I even jumped on.
No, well said, Ryan. Well said. He is Ryan Rowland-Smith, kind enough to join us on opening day here. Very busy day. Thanks so much, Ryan.
Thanks, Ryan.
Thanks, guys.
Let's get to 4 down territory.
This is 4 down territory, going inside the game. What former Seahawks and Coug wide receiver Michael Bumpus.
First down, the NFL's trying to clean up the game. What do they want to emphasize, and how do you feel about it?
So I read this article that the NFL wants to bring in more sportsmanship. They want to bring it back to the game. And
lame.
The picture
take it away from the game.
The picture that they had on the article was like a guy, a lineman, picking up Pat Mahomes, shaking his hand. And I thought, that's cute. That's really cute. And I understand they're saying, look, we want kids watching the game to learn from these guys and the sportsmanship and all that. And listen, it is a good idea, and I appreciate them putting that out there. And they didn't even give specifics exactly like how they want to clean it up. But the ball player in me says this is a violent game, and you are going to talk. You're going to try to intimidate. You might be a little dirty out there. This is not baseball where there's no contact at all. This is a game where your goal is to get a man, drive him into the ground, and do it violently. And if you had a microphone and you listened to the conversations that are being had out there, you wouldn't want your kids to listen to it. But you know what? These are adults. Now, I'm not for hitting guys low, going after their knees, even though sometimes they have to because it's so hard to play defense in this league. I'm not for like doing the Romanowski and spitting at somebody. Of course, those things. But just the whole presentation of the topic was funny to me because they show a defensive lineman helping Pat Mahomes up after he just sacked him. Man, forget all that noise. This is football. I need more details. Exactly what they're talking about. Because it sounds like they want to make the game softer, and it's already as soft as it's ever been, and you can't turn a game that is based on violence into flag football. It's just not going to work that way. So I just need more. It was interesting. The presentation was interesting. The picture was interesting. Of course, it's Pat Mahomes getting lifted up off the turf. Man, kill that noise. Be violent. After the game, shake hands, and it's all good. There are things that I've said to people, and people have said to me, then after the game, it's like it never happened. Like, all right, man, good game.
Am I wrong in thinking there's already a pretty decent amount of sportsmanship? Even, like, I see people, maybe, like, you're not going to pick a rookie up, but part of that's just, it's a hierarchy. I mean, that would be like that way in a horrible analogy, but like in the military. Like, there's just, when someone's starting out, they're not going to get the respect of people who are seniors there. But, like, I see people pick up quarterbacks. I'll see people, like, someone will beat him on a route or maybe a ball, and, like, he'll pat a receiver on the butt. Hey, whatever, you'll move on. Like, if you have no issue with this person, then there are guys that just don't like each other. They don't have to have great sportsmanship, but I feel like I see it in the game. I notice it.
Yeah, I feel like I see it too, but obviously they have some situations where they feel like poor sportsmanship is evident.
Sure.
But this is football, and it's going to get dirty out there.
Second down. What's an issue about replay assist? The league isn't up for changing, and do you think they should?
Yeah, so their assist rules is, look, if a referee calls a foul on the field and the people upstairs, the referees upstairs, see something, now they can assist and say, oh, you got that wrong, you got that right. So now they're saying, or they're sticking to the rule that if a penalty is not called, then the folks upstairs cannot assist. And me personally, I think that you should keep it to the guys on the football field making the calls, but I also think that 5 minutes left in the game, and there's a big penalty that was missed, maybe it was a face mask or something like that. I'm not talking about holding or anything like that, because that can happen every single play. But I'm talking like a face mask or maybe a few other rules. Then I think the people upstairs should be a part of it, because they want to make the game as efficient as possible. And it doesn't have to be like a drawn-out thing. We've been watching March Madness, right? In the last 2 minutes of a game, sometimes it takes like 10, 15 minutes because everything is being reviewed. I don't want it to be like that, but there are some that are just so egregious, and these referees might miss it. Why not get it right with the folks upstairs just the last 5 minutes of the game, maybe even the last 2 minutes of the game, and not make it a drawn-out process? Not have the referee go over to a box, look at the play himself, talk to the people upstairs. Just give the refs upstairs the authority to make the call, and let's just keep that thing pushing, because there are some that are just blatant. I'm talking about the blatant ones. So they're not budging when it comes to this, but I think they should explore it. Why have those referees if you're not going to use them in the most crucial part of the game?
Third down. What's a sneaky signing you feel will help one quarterback get over the hump?
I didn't realize Joey Bosa is with the Bills now. I did not realize
that was a sneaky signing.
It's a little sneaky one,
under
man.
the radar.
Last year, the Bills had 39 sacks. That's like 15th in the league or something like that. They only had two sacks against the Chiefs in the AFC Conference Championship game. This is sneaky. When the Bills were thought of to be one of the best defensive teams, man, they had backers, they had safeties, a couple defensive linemen, but no one with the star power that Joey has. The thing about Joey is that he has to stay healthy. 2022, he played in 5 games. 23, he played in 9. Last year, he played in 14 games. Whenever he plays in 14-plus games, he's a Pro Bowl type. He's a Pro Bowler type. So this is going to be great. I think that you have the leadership on offense, and now you need that bona fide star on defense, because you got guys like your safeties that both moved on. The defense for the Bills just looks a bit different. So this was sneaky. I didn't even realize this went down. Doing some research before the show, and I see Bosa with the Bills. I'm thinking, okay, Bosa, I see you over there. His personality in his game fits Buffalo.
You know why? Because when when Joey Bosa was released, it was somewhat of a slow news day, had slowed down in free agency a bit, breaking news banner right over ESPN, and then a bunch of news unfolded, and then when he got signed, it was like, he got signed.
Joey Bosa.
But
Schmoey Bosa.
when he was released, I remember going to ESPN. I know that it's an algorithm based on, what you might be reading about, but like breaking news banner, Joey Bosa's out. And then you never really got the big follow-up. Fourth down. What's a trait about an athlete you mentioned is necessary, but who do you think needs to live in that place mentally?
Athletes need to be delusional. I've said that plenty of times, and I firmly believe that you have to think you're better than what you are. You have to believe you can make every single play. I'm looking at Russell Wilson in New York, and he has to be delusional.
Wow.
He has to be that guy who thinks that everyone loves me. I'm going to make every single play. When I do make a mistake, it doesn't matter, because it's going to be a bit different. I think you made a good point sometime this week in saying that the New York media is going to look at Russell Wilson a bit differently, because he's 30-something years of age. He's coming off an okay year. He's not the guy who's leaving Seattle to go to Denver with high expectations. He's really just here to bridge. So I'm looking at Russell, and I need him to continue the delusion that he has lived in for a lot of his career.
Get back to
but
that.
A lot of athletes do. You have to live there. So Russell Wilson needs to do that. Also, I want to respond to a texter.
Yeah.
253 when it comes to the sportsmanship thing. He or she says it's not the violent part of the game that needs to be cleaned up. It's the constant look at me after every play, garbage and excessive lame, celebrating and chest puffing. Let me tell you this, man. If you are not on that football field and you are not completely vulnerable, if you don't let your emotions out, right, you're not going to get the best of you. There's some people's emotions are minimal, who just get up, clap their hands, and go. That guy's for you. Right? There are other guys who play this game with such passion that they're having fun out there. It is look at me. I made a dang play in the NFL, something you probably can't do. I'm telling you, you have to play with emotion in this game. I get what you're saying, but don't knock that person. He's just not your cup of tea.
You rarely hear a player actually admit to being on a bad team and say, nah, this is the worst. But that changed. Someone finally did say that. That's coming up next in the timeline.
It's opening day. The 2025 Seattle Mariners season is here. Catch all the action here on Seattle Sports, your home for the Mariners and opening day.
To me, the LJ way is to provide an experience that people really enjoy being a part of. And they enjoy being a part of it because they're getting great service. They're talking with somebody that actually they feel cares about them. They care about what their impression is going to be walking away. It's also understanding you're now part of our family, and thank you for doing the business with us. And this is how we're going to show our appreciation through customer service. We're going to show our appreciation with taking care of you if you ever have an issue. The majority of the people that are coming to see us are within our community. These are people who are providing maybe services that we also use in our community. So the LJ way, to me, somebody can come into a retail setting and not feel like they got to have their guard up. And that's been a long-standing thing in the car business that, we've tried to shake.
The LJ way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
Making fresh produce and food affordable and accessible to all is a mission Safeway is deeply committed to. G. Scott here. Your local Safeway has all the great benefits that SNAP-eligible families love, plus exclusive savings. Right now, save 50% on Fresh Pass memberships, plus get a monthly $5 credit, free unlimited delivery, $10 of free produce, and double rewards. Check out your Safeway For You app for all details and savings, or visit Safeway.com/SNAP for details.
Did you know colon cancer can be detected early or prevented through regular screening?
I have detected Around Earth is the greatest lie ever.
Okay, Roger. My uncle just passed away and I inherited his cockatoo, Roger. He was a member of the Flat Earth Society, so Roger picked up on some of his rhetoric. Anyway, screening, such as a colonoscopy.
Screen these! Screen these!
Roger that, Roger. Moving on. Colonoscopies can detect early-stage colon or rectal cancer, or even polyps, which are abnormal growths that can turn into cancer over time.
I'm a Flat Earth walker.
Come on, Roger. What did I do to my uncle to deserve you? You don't get to choose what you inherit, just like colon cancer. Unlike Roger here, I believe in science. And science says that if colon cancer runs in your family, you're more likely to develop it yourself. Talk to your doctor about when you should start screening. Find out more at coloncancercoalition.org. A message from the Colon Cancer Coalition.
Confidence is knowing you're ready to handle whatever comes your way. That's what it feels like to take on your workday with Cintas. They make sure your AEDs are up to date, your fire extinguishers are tested and inspected, your floor mats are cleaned and delivered, and your workwear looks good, feels good, and is freshly laundered with the Cintas Apparel Plus program. So are you ready to take on today? Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest, the last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the...
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your...
windshield wipers. eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying. Just beautiful.
Whatever you love, find it on eBay. eBay. Things people love.
Heading outdoors or on the water this weekend? Check in with Joey and Nelly on the Outdoor Line from 6 to 8 a.m. every Saturday on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
Was drafted in 1999 by the Philadelphia 76ers, and that was just absolutely a dream come true.
Todd's playing in the NBA is unique. His battle with neuropathy is not.
I first started noticing problems a couple years into my NBA career, and I felt like my sock was just balled up right in the arch of my foot, and there'd be areas of burning and tingling, and then there'd be other areas of deadness where there would be no response to touch. We tried everything possible, from surgery to different drugs, to try and take care of some of the symptoms.
I'm Dr. Mark Shelley, a chiropractic physician and board-certified functional neurologist at Sound Pain Solutions. Our neuropathy treatments can rehabilitate damaged nerves. We use FDA-cleared, non-surgical, non-drug, pain-free procedures that have helped thousands of neuropathy sufferers find relief.
Now I'm able to spend more time doing the things that I enjoy, being on my feet.
If you experience numbness, shooting, or burning pains, or loss of balance, call us. Sound Pain Solutions, 855-996-0025, or click soundpainsolutions.com.
Jason Rance here with our local tax expert and advocate, Greg Nunn from Nunn Better Tax Resolution. So, Greg, not all tax resolution companies are the same. There are some that are definitely not local. There are others that don't quite know what they're doing even.
Well, I tell you, these ads that all of us hear, Fresh Start program. They make you feel like, hey, man, I can just easy peasy get my taxes written off. No. And I've had several clients actually come to me after going through that process, and they just get no response after a while. They're passed around from person to person. That doesn't happen at my firm.
You are familiar with the cases that come in. You're working on them.
I'm familiar with every case that comes into our office. And I know what's going on and have the ability to really advise our taxpayers very well on what to do.
If you're having trouble with the IRS, then call Greg Nunn. None Better Tax Resolution, from stress to success with IRS Solutions. 425-947-1967 or Google NUNN. None Better Tax Resolution.
This is The Timeline
with Bump and Stacy.
Brought to you by 1-800-DUI-AWAY.
It is The Timeline on Bump and Stacy, reading you the top stories you're going to see and hear about on your own timeline. We'll start with this one. One of the last remaining White Sox stars, I always say Robert. It's right?
It's just Robert.
Luis Robert. Why do I say Robert?
No, I thought I heard something.
Who am I thinking of? I've been talking about this
Robert,
person.
but he just said, just call me Robert because everyone calls me Robert.
Okay, well, Luis Robert, who I talked about endlessly at the trade deadline and somehow forgot how to talk about his name, one of basically the biggest White Sox star left. Luis Robert. Okay, well, he kept it very honest when asked if he's still expected to be with Chicago after the offseason, and who can blame him. This is from @K_Williams Media. Center fielder Luis Robert Jr. on if he expects to still be with the White Sox roster. Quote, honestly, no.
Hey, that's as real as it gets. I appreciate that. No, it didn't beat around the bush. Didn't say, you know what, Chicago is a great place. An organization is this and that. I really got some teammates. Nah, he said, you know what, hand me my drink. Nah.
It's the Magic Johnson. I'm not going to
be there.
And honestly, he's probably not, because even if you're like, I don't want to be here, the White Sox are going to be offloading people. I feel bad for their new manager. I don't know how you dig yourself out of where you are.
Yeah, Will Venable, he took that job, and I mean, gosh, you got to give him at least more than 1 year, right? Like that, there's no way they're going to win more than 60 games this season.
Is there a head coach or manager that you feel like just got the worst gig, like inherited a horrible roster, impossible situation, was probably ultimately fired, and you're thinking, who could have saved that? I'm thinking Wilkes with the Cardinals, like offhand.
Him or what's David Culley with the Texans, the guy before D'Amico Ryans?
Yeah, that was another good one. We finally have a resolution to the Red Sox beef between Rafael Devers, Alex Bregman, and Alex Cora. Devers will be the DH. Bregman will be Boston's starting third baseman.
All right, we got that sorted out. Play nicely, boys.
I don't think they're going to play nicely.
Hey, be professionals. How about that? Just be professionals. You know,
they're both getting paid
happen.
Handsomely.
Yeah.
I think with the kind of paychecks they're bringing in, they don't need to be beefing.
The Red Sox had a really solid offseason, but this is kind of the part of the solid offseason I forget, right? Is like when you're a team that brings in star power and you already have star power, sometimes those stars are going to fight.
Yeah.
I just completely overlook. Yeah, I completely overlooked that possibility. But there was no way that they were going to bring in Alex Bregman, overpay him what reportedly other teams were looking at, and go, yeah, we're just going to have him DH.
There's a Netflix series coming out on the 24 Red Sox season. It's kind of like a Hard Knocks style thing. I kind of wish they'd done it in 25, because then we would have seen just how deep this beef got between all three of those guys.
One of the weirdest streaks in baseball continues today. Next story, for the 19th consecutive opening day, the Giants will have a different left fielder. I'm going to say that again. For the 19th consecutive opening day, the Giants will have a different left fielder. They've tied the Orioles of the late 30s and early 50s. What a time. As the only teams to ever reach 19 years at the same position.
That's consistency right there.
I mean, their last...
That is consistency.
Yes, their last repeat left fielder, and maybe it's a curse, Barry Bonds, 2006 and 7.
Barry's just lurking over there. The spirit of Barry Bonds, the myth, the legend of Barry Bonds. That's interesting, man. We talk about not being able to get a bat sometimes. I mean, they just get a left fielder out there, man. Goodness gracious.
He could probably, at his age, which I think he's probably mid-50s now, mid to late 50s, he could probably still hit one out.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I would say so.
Yeah.
He's a bit thinner than he used to be. I saw him.
I wonder why.
Curtis.
I wonder why.
Because his calorie intake is
Right,
different.
yeah.
It's different.
Yeah, and there's not as much trans fats in foods now as it compared to the early 2000s.
Yeah,
Curtis.
mid 2000s, we weren't thinking about all these different ingredients in our food.
Exactly. Dale Earnhardt Jr. next story was on Bussin' with the Boys and shared his love for EA Sports college football video game, but says it's not a normal kind of love. Cut 20.
I have a spreadsheet on my dynasty. This is my offense.
Like this is your depth chart?
Yeah, yes, depth chart. Red is seniors, juniors, it's color coded.
Well, this is a Connor Stallions manifesto. Yeah.
That is my depth chart. So this is my playbook. These are all run plays. These are pass plays, RPOs, screens. I will then rank them in their ability to gain yards, and then I will customize my playbook.
Confirm college football sicko.
It's fun.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. is crazy. You are a college football coach.
That's exactly what he is.
Yes.
Even high school. Now, he's 50 years of age. So college football, the game in its prime, he was like in his 20s or something like that, and had some funds, had some time to really get into this. I love it, man. I think it takes a lot of time to do that, right? I've been a coordinator in high school, and to have your spreadsheet all locked in like that, it takes some time. The easy part is he probably only has to do it like every so often. When you're really coaching, it's week by week, things are changing and you're moving things around. But that's dedication right there. If he's that detailed with that, I want to see this other parts of his life and how detailed he is.
That's what I was going to ask you and Curtis. Is there anything in your lives, much like Dale
detailed
Earnhardt Jr. for EA Sports college football, how he has a playbook, he color codes, what players are good at, like they're his players in his mind. Is there anything you took a little too far that maybe your partner was like, you need to calm down?
It was before kids. MLB The Show, the very popular baseball video game, really took over my life.
You were like, I'm making trades.
To the point where, like, any downtime at work, I'd be, like, opening packs on my computer. I'm like, I can't be doing this at work. What am I doing?
A random one that I remember our boss, Kyle Brown, told me about, and this wouldn't be something that took over his life, but maybe something where your friends and family start to go, okay, I think you need to let it go, is he had security cameras set up around his yard, and there was this deer that was eating his vegetables, and he would all day. He talked about just like sitting and staring at the deer when he's at work on this security camera going, look at what he's doing. Can you see him right now? The audacity. He just got a little too into it.
Mine would be golf fits. I go on a golf trip.
Yeah.
I lay him out like his first day of school. First round, second round, third round. Make sure the bag is all good. Fresh golf balls. Like I have too many ball markers. I probably have 50 ball markers. I am just obsessed with that.
Do you put them in individual like Ziploc bags? Because we've done that with our girls where we put outfits that we have planned for them on a trip in a Ziploc
That's
bag.
smart.
So it doesn't get mixed up.
That's smart.
You can do that next time.
I stack them accordingly. I go shirt, pants, socks, shirt, pants, socks, shirt.
What
pants,
did you
socks,
get that was ridiculously expensive? It was some kind of golf measurement. I don't know what it was. Rangefinder.
Yeah, I mean that's essential. That's gonna cost. Good one's gonna cost you about $400 or $500.
Oh, that's less expensive.
How is
than
that
I thought
any
it
different
was.
than a pair of binoculars?
Because it tells you the yardage on it.
John,
Binoculars, you're just getting close. Rangefinder will tell you how far the pin is.
Okay, next, probably last story here. In an interview with The Athletic, Yankees third baseman Jazz Chisholm shared former Marlins teammate Miguel Rojas, this is unbelievable here, ruined multiple pairs of custom cleats during Jazz's rookie season. So when he arrived to the Bigs in 2020, he had 20 custom pairs of cleats. So they displayed like Oreo cookies, which were his favorite cookie, an anime series, Black Clover, a video game, Grand Theft Auto Vice City. His teammate, Miguel, did not see the artistry, says The Athletic. Instead, he saw a flashy rookie who needed to be put in his place. And that would mean cutting up the custom cleats with scissors or ruining another pair by filling them with milk. This, I'm going to say, is a little less hazing and slightly towards like the high school bullying.
Yeah.
It's a little excessive.
Right, that's a hater. But, Yankee way. You can't have any facial hair.
That was the Marlins.
Oh, it was
the Marlins
okay.
way.
All right, Marlins way.
Marlins way.
Hey, we're talking Miami. We're talking Miami here. One of the flashiest cities. Yeah, you got pastel colors everywhere. What
no
are you
one
talking
wears
about?
khaki in Miami.
Absolutely not. I just, to me, haze. Have you ever been hazed? What was being a rookie at like Wazoo or like with the Seahawks?
Dinner?
Yeah, what did you have to do?
They made us sing at Wazoo, but at Wazoo they were cutting freshmen's hair. So after practice, we go into the locker room. I hear clippers going, and I just leave. I had braids at the time.
Yeah.
And they walked up to me afterwards, was like, "You better ball. We're cutting your hair." I go, "Listen, I'm gonna ball, and you're not cutting my hair."
I'm the highest rated.
Yeah, that's what you can say when you're a
need me more than I
5-star.
need
You go, let me tell you what. We are not the same.
In the NFL, they made me carry some pads, like after
that's
practice,
fine.
carry pads.
See, that's usually what I've seen from the Seahawks is like rookies that players won't call you your name. You're just Rook or, hey 5, hey 30, hey whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know who got 30, a special teams rookie.
Justin Forsett, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
But that mostly it's like, you're carrying stuff off the field. I've never heard of someone cutting up cleats or shoes or ruining someone's stuff. I don't know if I'd get over that. Joining us next, lots to talk about with the pitching staff. And don't forget about the guys in the bullpen. Bullpen coach Tony Arnerich joins us next.
It's opening day. The 2025 Seattle Mariners season is here. Catch all the action here on Seattle Sports. Your home for the Mariners and opening day.
Bracket busted? Don't worry, Madness Maniacs, you still have a shot at winning. Head to seattlesports.com/win to fill out your 16-team bracket. It's not too late to join in on the fun. It's the Seattle Sports Bracket Bucks presented by Muckleshoot Casino Resort. And the winner of the 16-team competition will win a $500 Visa gift card. Register and find complete rules at seattlesports.com/win. Seattle Sports Bracket Bucks presented by Muckleshoot Casino.
For over 113 years, Pacific Lamp and Supply Company has been your #1 lighting specialist in Washington, from the Space Needle in Seattle all the way to the Riverwalk in Spokane. With the largest lighting inventory in Washington, Pacific Lamp's knowledgeable and experienced staff can assist with any lighting issue, including intricate lighting and control designs. Plus, they work with all utilities in Washington to get you the best available lighting rebates. Pacific Lamp and Supply Company, Washington's lighting experts since 1912. Visit pacificlamp.com.
Discover LeMay, America's car museum in Tacoma. Explore 300 world-class cars, 100 years of history, and the Shinka exhibit with 50 iconic Japanese sports cars. Thrilling race simulators and fun for the whole family. Visit americascarmuseum.org.
Safety comes first. When money is tight, don't neglect maintenance on your vehicle. Keep it safe. At Bucky's Complete Auto, we have you covered with available financing. For over 50 years, Bucky's Complete Auto has been servicing and repairing cars and trucks with modern-day technology and good old-fashioned customer service. There's a Bucky's just about everywhere for oil changes, wiper blades, brakes, tire rotation, tune-ups, and factory maintenance. No appointment necessary and financing's available. Check Bucky's.com for the location near you.
Stream every Seattle sports show with the Seattle Sports app. Brought to you by Fred Hutchinson Cancer Center. Get new videos, podcasts, and articles on the Seahawks and Mariners from your favorite Seattle sports personalities daily.
So I formed Davis Law Group about 30 years ago, and I would get, the same questions from people about what to do in the case of an accident. Do you need a lawyer? To the point where I decided that I would at least write a book which would answer the common questions that I would receive as a lawyer. Once I wrote my first book, it proved to be hugely popular. I decided to write then a series of books in different accident cases so that we could really teach people about their rights, how to protect them, and how to decide on whether they need a lawyer and what lawyer to hire. I've found in my career that having a client that is educated and knowledgeable about their particular type of case really helps the client and also usually ends up making the case or the claim more successful. To get your free copy of any of my Washington accident books, visit WashingtonAccidentBooks.com.
Protein, protein, protein. Everyone is trying to get protein in their diet, but we need fats too. Healthy fat, that is, like the rich, natural peanut and almond butters found at G2G protein bars. Most bars don't have it because, most bars aren't real food or refrigerated. Fortunately for you, we aren't most bars. At G2G, you'll find a balanced helping of protein and healthy fat. The fact that they're delicious is just the bonus. They're fast, easy, and perfect for on-the-go families. G2G protein bars. Find them in the refrigerated section at Costco.
Headed outdoors or on the water this weekend? Check in with Joey and Nelly on the Outdoor Line from 6 to 8 a.m. every Saturday on seattlesports.com.
Roof now, pay later. No payments until 2027. 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for up to 24 months. Hi, Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors here. Since 1968, we've helped homeowners just like you get beautiful, durable roofs without breaking the bank. Look today and lock in summer pricing before it's too late. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com to schedule your free estimate. State Roofing and Exteriors, held to a higher standard since 1968.
Swedish Cyberknife is expanding. Dave Wyman with exciting news about Swedish adding a second Cyberknife in Seattle. Cyberknife is a non-invasive, extremely precise prostate cancer radiotherapy treatment. Compared with other radiation therapies, which last 6 to 9 weeks, the Cyberknife treatment period is much shorter, typically 5 days with daily sessions under an hour. Treat prostate cancer with Swedish Cyberknife. Swedish.org/Cyberknife prostate.
Hello, Seattle. It's your friendly neighbor, the T-Mobile Park roof. From up here, I can see it all. Folks pouring in from the street, the sun setting over the sound, the roar of the crowd as Luis Castillo pumps his fist, and the joy of the J-Rod squad as Julio snares a deep fly ball at the wall.
He reaches up with a leap and he makes the catch!
And all the faces smiling with every perfectly grilled hot dog and swirl of soft serve. When the final out's made, I'll be right up here, lighting the W and soaking it all in. Mariners baseball. Try it inside.
It's officially Mariners opening day. Don't miss tonight's festivities at T-Mobile Park, starting with a special pregame ceremony at 6:30 and first pitch at 7:10. Plus, check out everything on deck during the first homestand, like Randy Arozarena Cross-Armed Hoodie Night tomorrow at 6:40. Get your tickets now at mariners.com.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Back-to-back amazing guests here. We've got Andy McKay joining us in 15. Before we get to that, jumping right into the season with Mariners bullpen coach Tony Arnerich. Tony, we are happy to have you. How's opening day feel for you? Is it? I asked. We talked to Rowland-Smith earlier. Like, for some people, it's another day at work. For some people, there's always a sentimentality attached. What about you?
Yeah, that's funny you asked. My brother texted me last night. He's like, so is it like the night before Christmas? And,
yeah.
And I'm like, well, Billy, I'm on a major league field and I'm wearing baseball pants. And,
right.
So, yeah, it's
pretty
kind of
important.
about that same feel. So it's special. And, you know, you grow up on opening day is always a big day in the house.
Yeah.
We were a big baseball family. So to be a part of it, especially with the Mariners, is really special. And you just can't take that for granted. You're very fortunate to be able to do it.
Where are you from, and who was your team as a kid?
So Santa Rosa, California.
Okay.
If you go over the Golden Gate Bridge, you go about an hour north. So I was a big Giants fan growing up, and I kind of liked the A's, you know, but more just hardcore Giants fan. And so we went to a lot of games at Candlestick Park. It was very cold, but a lot of fun. But yeah, so big Giants fan growing up.
I also have cold memories growing up here in Seattle, a couple very cold April games, and thankfully pretty beautiful out today. You know, during the break, we were all talking about Cal as being a huge leader of this team. I'm assuming on a baseball team, probably a couple different leaders for different parts of the group. Is there someone, you know, in the pen or potentially even with the starters that kind of assumes that role for your group?
I think there's a couple guys. I mean, our starters are so close, you know,
Yeah.
but Louis, they all bring something different. You know, Louis is super grateful and he shows that every day. And Logan's just a hard worker, and George puts his head down and goes. And, you know, so everybody kind of brings a unique personality. In the bullpen, we have some characters out there, you know, between Sauce and Thorny and Mooney. But Mooney, I would say, you know, he gets the ball at the end, and he has that kind of quiet confidence. And when he walks down that ramp out there, there's a big belief in all our guys. And I think that's one thing about the bullpen that I love is all our guys pull for each other. It's kind of like another team within the team, and there's no you know, resentment or anything. They all want each other to pitch well, and we all want the same thing, which is to win and win a World Series.
What's the emotions like for a guy like Munoz throughout a game? You know, he knows, like, early, I'm good. You know, is he a bit more relaxed in the early innings, and then as the game goes along, does he just focus in a bit more? Like, walk me through what he looks like and feels like out there.
Yeah, well, I mean, he comes out in about the fourth inning because he waits for everyone to get all the starters on the field to get their work in, and so they can go play, and then he'll get in with the trainers and get his pre-game stuff in, and he comes out and he's just kind of, you know, his playful self. He's not very talkative, but he'll say hi. And then as it gets closer to the 8th and 9th inning, you can see it start to lock in a little bit. And he and I kind of have a little routine that we go through where I try to pump him up. And then before he leaves for his last pitch, I slap him on his chest as hard as I can, and he slaps me on my chest, and then it's go time. So yeah, there's definitely a build-up, and but you can sense the confidence and the competitiveness that he brings, and it's fun to be around.
Sometimes a sports fan's favorite thing to do is complain about their team. You know, I know fans that are Dodgers fans and Lakers fans who, you know, they'll find
I'm a
moments.
Mariner fan too.
You are. But I'm saying it's all kind of no matter what. And I'm sure you aren't immune to conversations around the team and stuff, which is why earlier Bump and I were having a conversation about, well, like, let's talk about the what ifs. Like, it's opening day. And, you know, if you're going to look at the season, if you're a fan that maybe is, you know, half empty, you're going to look at it and you're going to go, well, I don't like X, Y, and Z. But there's a lot of really cool what ifs with this team because there's so much potential. There's so much youth. There's guys who were hurt last year that finally get to be healthy. Is there maybe a player you look at where you go, God, like, I don't know what anyone else thinks, but I really believe like this is going to be a big year for this guy?
Yeah, I mean, the obvious ones, you know, Cal and Julio. But I think Polanco last year, he battled through some injuries, and he played through some injuries that maybe the public doesn't always know about, you know, nagging, you know, whether it's his knee or whatever. And he had a great spring, and just seeing him, you know, he looks physically like he's really prepared to have a good year. And the way he swung the bat in the spring, I think we got a real glimpse of the hitter he can be. And I think a lot of our guys would tell you, like, last year was not a very good year for them. And I look for a lot of guys to have bounce back years, you know, Mitch Garver being another one who had a great spring. So I think there's a lot of optimism, and I think in baseball you have to be optimistic, you know, especially on opening day. You got to hope the best, and that's what we're doing. I mean, we see a lot of guys that work really hard every single day, and I think we're going to see some things that come out that maybe might surprise some people.
Yeah, that's awesome.
One of the guys I'm looking forward to seeing is Santos. Didn't see much of him last year, but he plays with like this passion that I'm a football player, so whenever guys show emotion, I get up, I'm standing up, and I'm hyped right there with them. What have you seen out of him, and what should we expect?
I see no fear, and he wants the ball, and so. I mean, you look at the stuff that comes out of his hand, it's elite. You know, you're throwing 99 mile per hour, just bowling ball sinkers, and then a 91 mile per hour slider that goes basically the opposite direction and down. And so his biggest thing is just attacking, right? When he goes at hitters, he's really, really good. And, but like I said, he's a competitor, and he is as confident as they come. And so I'm really excited too to see a healthy Gregory out there and be able to hand him the ball and watch him go down that ramp just like Munoz is going to be really exciting.
Speaking of Santos pitches, what do you think of Munoz's new pitch? Are we going to see that thing, or what's going on with that?
You know, he threw it for the first time in the bullpen, and there was video of it, but all of us were like, what the hell was that, right? Like, I mean, it was insane, and Cal made the same face. So, you know, I think it's just he has a really good repertoire already, and so finding ways to insert it and then see what it does. You know, it's nice and sexy in the pen, but to go out there in a big league game and do it when the game's on the line is another thing. And so I think it'll gradually work its way into his repertoire. Now, how big will that be? We'll see. Hopefully it's just another weapon he can utilize. And that's, you know, it is exciting, but for now, I think it's just do what you do, and when you find your spots, and Cal's really good about doing this, find your spots to use it and see what it does, and hopefully it's another elite pitch for him.
God, I can't wait. Just filthy. I know that we spend so much of these interviews when we talk to coaches asking about your guys and asking about what they're working on and what you guys have seen, but sometimes it's fun, and I know Bump, as a coach, likes asking questions about, like, well, tell us about coaching. And like I think that maybe because we're talking to Andy soon, and he frequently posts lots of like book recommendations, so I am in the mindset of like, you know, what have you learned from other people? But what's something maybe along your journey where you thought like it was either a tough lesson, a humbling moment, or maybe just a cool exchange where you thought like, I feel like I learned and took something from this?
Well, I think just being a hitting coach, you know, you learn a lot. It's a thankless job, and it's really hard.
Yep.
But then utilizing what I learned from that, going back on the pitching side into the bullpen, there's a lot of lessons I learned. Number one, hitting's really, really hard. Number two, pitchers give hitters too much credit sometimes. And so I try to utilize that experience of like, look, your stuff is good enough, and that guy does not want to face you, right? So, like, just try to instill confidence in them. And another thing, speaking of Andy, that he's always told me, back when I was minor league field coordinator, you have to have a lot of tough conversations sometimes with coaches, and he always said, take the rep. So, like, if it's a tough conversation, take the rep. You're going to keep getting better at it. He's like, it's never going to get easier, but you're going to get better at having these conversations. And then I utilize that same thing with players, right? Like, we have to deliver truth. And so part of that is not always fun, and it doesn't always, make them happy, but they need to hear truth. And so just that mentality of take the rep because you owe it to the player to give them honesty and truth. And it's only at the end of the day is hopefully going to make them better. And I think you have to have courage to have those conversations. So Andy told me from day one, take the rep. And so that's kind of how I look at it. Anytime there's a coaching opportunity, it may be hard, but that's why we're in these positions. And if we can't have those conversations, then we're not the right guy for the job. So basically just take the rep when you can.
Is that how you kind of look at, like, maybe even an outing where you're like, man, like, he was feeling good, he was feeling great, the work was productive, he, we kind of knew what to expect here, and it wasn't his AB.
Yeah,
it just didn't work out. Is that kind of the same mentality?
For sure. And I think it's, when someone has a bad outing, people try to, like, kind of steer clear of them. And it's like, no, like, have the courage to just go talk to them. And a lot of times they want to talk. And so you just have to be there and be a sounding board for them and try to get them back into that good mindset, because if they let one outing derail them, that's a problem. And so it's just about understanding that over time, what you're doing is going to be very successful. Today, maybe it didn't go the way you wanted it to, but we got to get back on the horse and keep going, because we know over time, if you keep doing what you've been doing, you're going to have success. So we just got to kind of keep them in the lane, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Not let them throw any gutter balls and go down that path. So I guess that's the art of coaching, though, right? Is trying to figure out how to get through to each guy, because they're all different, the language barriers and where they're from and what they need is all part of it. And so that's the fun part that we get to try to figure out.
All right, well, thanks, Coach.
Love
We
it.
appreciate your time. Happy opening day.
Yeah.
Like we mentioned with Tony, Andy McKay joining us next. Don't go anywhere.
It's opening day. The 2025 Seattle Mariners season is here. Catch all the action here on Seattle Sports. Your home for the Mariners and opening day.
Well, the longer days, the sunny breaks in the weather, they've got me dreaming of summer, right? Getting out in the golf course, heading on vacation, or just enjoying our beautiful Northwest region. Make this summer one to remember by looking and feeling your absolute best. You can do it, and if you start right now, you can accomplish that goal before Memorial Day weekend. It's Mike Salk here, and 45 days is all it takes. You can lose almost a pound each day. I lost 35 total with Eastside Weight Loss Clinic, and I'll let you in a little secret. Those 45 days, they're not even that hard. No crazy dieting, no cardio or crazy exercise. Definitely no pills or injections with any kind of potentially scary side effects. None of that. You're eating healthy, delicious meals that you make for yourself and buy at the grocery store, and you watch the pounds absolutely fall off. Find out if you can do it. I know you can. A 15-minute call is all it takes. No obligation. Schedule it right now at eastsideweightlossklinik.com. You got nothing to lose other than like a ton of weight. Go to eastsideweightlossklinik.com. Dr. Ryan Coogan, DC. Results may vary.
Hey, it's Jason Rantz. Our local tax expert Greg Nunn wants taxpayers to know the IRS is now going after older cases very aggressively. If you received Form CP-504 from the IRS, do not ignore it. Be proactive and resolve your situation with Greg Nunn, N-U-N-N, None Better Tax Resolution.
Just Cause Legal knows the value of standing up for what's right. If you've been involved in a car crash, Just Cause Legal is here to fight for you with an aggressive team dedicated to securing the compensation you deserve. Just Cause Legal makes the process as painless as possible. Don't wait. Time is critical. Get the help needed today. Visit justcauselegal.com or call 253-859-8899 and meet your legal lifesavers. Just Cause Legal. Fighting for you.
What if your business could see beyond what is and into what can be? What if you could create more impact in every decision? What if you had a partner as visionary as you are? With Bank of America, you get access to our trusted experts, real-time insights, and digital tools. So whether you run a local shop or a global enterprise, you're backed by business solutions to make every move matter. What would you like the power to do? Find out how at bankofamerica.com/banking for business. Bank of America is proud to be the official bank sponsor of FIFA World Cup 2026.
Hey, fellow Gen Xers, it's Elizabeth Banks. Big news! The recommended age for pneumococcal pneumonia vaccination has been lowered to 50 and older, even if you're healthy. It's up to us to lead the charge. After all, we gave the world the internet. We're trailblazers. Let's lead the way again because we are at over 6 times greater risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Gen X, this is our shot. Head to vaxassist.com and schedule today. That's vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Taxes was taxing. Now taxes is relaxing when you file for free.
I can file for free? TurboTax Free Edition. Roughly 37% of filers qualify. Simple Form 1040 returns only. See if you qualify at turbotax.com/free. I can file for free.
Now this is taxes. File for free with TurboTax Free Edition and get your maximum refund. No schedules except for earned income tax credit, child tax credit, and student loan interest. See if you qualify at turbotax.com/free.
When you switch to Progressive, you could save bundling your home and auto. Then you could put that money towards some of the surprisingly more expensive things in life.
Attention passengers, we've reached 10,000 feet and internet is now available for purchase.
I just paid hundreds for this flight, and you can't even throw in internet? I'll just take the free pretzels.
Sorry, but I do have snack boxes for sale.
I'm just gonna sleep.
In that case, we are selling pillows and blankets as well.
I'll just breathe. That's free, right?
Life costs a lot, so bundle and you could save with Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
Your favorite Seattle sports show is available anywhere you go through the Seattle Sports app. Brought to you by Fred Hutchinson Cancer Center Proton Therapy. Full shows and interviews, exclusive video and articles from the home of the Seahawks and Mariners.
If you're 55 and up, T-Mobile has plans built just for you. 2 lines of unlimited for just $30 a line. That's a 45% savings compared to Verizon and AT&T. But don't just take our word for it.
It's not just the savings that are great with our T-Mobile plan. There's all this value from all these other things that T-Mobile offers.
T-Mobile has been such a savings for us.
We love it. Switch today and get 2 free 5G phones like the Motorola Edge with Turbo Power charging that gives you power for the day in just 15 minutes. And customers 55 and up can get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for only $30 a line. Go to T-Mobile.com/choice55 to learn more. With AutoPay plus taxes and fees, plus $5 per line without AutoPay. Debit or bank account required. 45% off 2 lines versus AT&T Starter and Verizon Welcome. Plan benefits vary. Motorola Edge on us with 24 monthly bill credits and new line for well-qualified customers, plus tax and $35 per line connection charge. See details at T-Mobile.com. Motorola Edge requires 68-watt charger. Charger sold separately. Actual performance will vary based on usage and configuration.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
News from the AOS. Cam Smith, the Astros' #1 prospect, has made the opening day roster. He was acquired as part of that trade of Kyle Tucker. While the Astros were reportedly open to breaking camp with Smith on the roster, it's still newsworthy. He was the number 14 overall pick just last year and has only 32 minor league games under his belt.
Snapshot. Brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time. From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bump and Stacy
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
Here we go now. It is opening day for the Seattle Mariners. Bump and I live from T-Mobile Park. It is gorgeous outside. We're watching them get everything ready. Cannot wait to see this place filled with fans. Joining us right now, Mariners assistant GM Andy McKay on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. Hey, Andy, how's it going?
Great, Stacy, Michael. Thanks for having me on today.
We are happy to have you. We have so much to talk about. I'm going to start with just kind of like a general feeling that you have heading into opening day. We've all been waiting for it to get here. I mean, I've said it a million times, like every day this week. I can't believe it's almost here. Today I said I can't believe it's opening day. And in part because everything is possible, right? You look at opening day and you get to feel rightfully so excited about all the pieces you have to work with. What are you most excited to watch, whether just tonight or this season?
Yeah, I think from a, I guess like a big picture view where we have a really good major league team. We know that we're competitive. We know that we should be there at the end of the year, into the playoffs, making a run at it. And we've earned the right to feel that confidence. And we have a loaded minor league system where you've got real prospects, high-end prospects at every affiliate. So just like you said, every night there's opportunity to see something great happen, whether it's in Seattle or Tacoma or Modesto, Arkansas. And that's really exciting to go into a season knowing that.
Hey, how do you like the growth of this team? You know, you got some young leaders out there. You have some veterans as well. I really like the mix, but how would you describe the growth of this team over the year or maybe even the last couple of years?
Yeah. I think you've seen every year, you know, that core getting better. Obviously, everyone talks about our pitching, and deservedly so, but that pitching has continued to get better. It's not, it's not resting on last year's accomplishments. And if you look at the team overall, the strides that Cal has taken, and then the new additions of having a full season of Randy and Vic on either side of Julio. Like you said, it makes for a great combination of not only players and skills, but personalities. And that's going to play really well for us over 162.
We've been talking, whenever we cover other teams and always go over identity. And I will give you guys credit with one thing. I know exactly who this team is, who they want to be, and I know when to expect it. And anytime one of these starters steps up to the mound, I think this is going to be a team that's about run prevention. They're going to be about excellent pitching, and, they're going to be able to look to, stars like Julio and stars like Cal to help out. When you talk about maintaining identity, I mean, we talk so much about it with other sports. I feel so stupid asking Andy, but is that something that is like integral to team building? Like when you guys are looking at free agency, at the draft, what are the things that you look to be like, we want to keep this identity intact? Like, what are the things you prioritize?
Yeah, well, I mean, it kind of begins with you got to know who you are before you can be who you are. And we always say, just be yourself. Well, it's easy to do if you actually know who you are. One of our coaches, Tony Arnerich, shared a quote in one of our staff meetings this spring. He said, it was actually a Dolly Parton quote, know who you are and be that person on purpose every day, which was such a great thought, especially around the idea of identity. But, when I think of identity with our major league team this year specifically, one of the things that Dan has really tried to bring to life through spring training was just, kind of three concepts. One is we are ready to compete at 7:00 every night, which actually became kind of a joke because we never actually play at 7. It's like 6:40 or it's 7:10. That just doesn't roll off the lips quite as easily as be ready at 7, right?
10 minutes early.
And then, yeah, exactly. Be ready at 7:00. Win the battle of 90 feet. And what that means is taking care of little things, taking our walks, not walking people, playing clean defense, preventing others from taking 90 feet and trying to whittle it down to a battle of 90 feet on both offense and defense. And doing that for all 9 innings, so kind of that 7, 90, and 9 is something that really matters to Dan. And he's brought it to life, not just through his words, but through his actions and his behaviors and how we practice in spring training. And it should certainly be something that's showing up on our field over the course of 162.
Spring training is fun for me, and then it's also like frustrating at the same time because I'm like, what do I believe in? Is this real? And watching Bliss kind of do his thing and then watching Rowdy do his thing is I ask myself those same questions, but it seems like it was real. What have you seen out of those guys, and what do you expect?
Yeah, I mean, really the same thing that you saw, which is, and obviously two different, Rowdy kind of being more of a veteran player and Bliss trying to crack the opening day roster. But I'm a believer in other people's talents, and, if you do it, you do it. And if you do it in spring training, you're showing that I'm capable of playing in this league. I'm capable of competing against the best players in the world. And now they have to do it, and we both have done it long enough. We see guys that have terrible spring trainings that put together monster seasons, and you see it the other way around. But performance is performance, and they absolutely showed that they can do it, and they have it inside of them to do that. And I know that their expectations are that they will, as is ours. And we need them to be good, and we need them to show up every night prepared to play and give us their best. And we trust that that's going to happen.
Hey, Andy, opening day always kind of gives us an excuse to be a little more sentimental, maybe a little more emotional about baseball, right? We have conversations about the game, but then conversations about what the game of baseball means to us. And it's always been my favorite thing about it, especially when we do interviews. So I do have a question that's a little bit more about that sentimental side. Obviously, you're from the player development side of things, and you've watched the beginnings to the ends of careers for so many guys. Has there ever been a moment, or maybe even the last moment, where you felt yourself getting really emotional, right? Because it's almost like you got to watch guys grow up sometimes, or maybe become the player you thought. And maybe it's even someone who has a week in the bigs and you know how much that meant. But maybe the last time where you just felt very touched or very emotional about something you were seeing.
God, you're putting me on the spot here.
I know.
That's what she does.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's okay. It happens more than you would think. And I guess the last moment that I kind of felt myself a little bit, I sent Cal Raleigh a text the other night. And I can vividly remember meeting him for the first time. And on his contact in my phone is his picture from Florida State. And as I'm kind of looking at it, I'm like, oh my God, this kid is not a kid anymore. He's arguably the best player in the world at his position. And I just wrote him a text congratulating him on the extension. And, I certainly had some emotion writing that, just thinking about his journey. And, but before that, shaking Logan Gilbert's hand, in congratulations for being the opening day starter, which is such a big deal. And it's such a huge honor. And obviously Logan and Cal came out of the same draft class. So anytime you have moments like that where you kind of pull back for a minute and just honor an individual's journey in the game, whether it's Cal getting this extension or Logan pitching on opening day, or getting to tell Ryan Bliss that you made the roster. Those things are great. And you got to be mindful of them because this game is so hard. The industry is so hard, and it beats all of us up at times. And so you do have to take those moments and stay connected to them because they don't come around all that often. So those are a couple of examples.
What's opening day like for your buddies, the guys you're in a text thread with? I mean, what questions do they ask you? What's the excitement like with them?
Text thread is a loaded question in the last couple of days. Yes. There's a lot, we've all got friends all around the league. And there's a lot of, well-wishing going back and forth, but, I've got the number of text threads on my phone, I guess, is a little absurd, but you're keeping an eye on things in the minor leagues. We talked about our AAA roster today, kind of at length and potential batting order and playing time and roles and whatnot. And, starting here very shortly, we've got a lot of pregame meetings that start that we do every day during the season. And today's obviously the first day of them, but today's definitely one of the more positive days on the text threads, which is great. And you learn to enjoy them because, by 10 o'clock tonight, we'll be solving problems and dealing with things that came up. And that's kind of what you do all season long.
Hey, kind of a question similar. We just talked with Tony a little bit ago, and we asked him about things that he'd learned throughout his career. I know that you're clearly a fan of many other leagues. I've seen you, tweet out book recommendations or quotes from other coaches in other leagues. Is there anything you've ever taken from another league, another coach, something maybe that would typically be outside the purview of baseball where you thought, oh my God, that resonates and I still think about it?
Yeah, of course. I mean, with football and basketball, I study it all. And one of the things you kind of run into, and I'll just start with football, and something Coach Carroll talked about with kind of that model of Tell the Truth Monday, which is basically film review and the film doesn't lie. And in the NFL, you play once a week. And so you've got 6 days to kind of really debrief what had happened and learn lessons and then start building up for the next game. Well, we have to try to replicate that process every 24 hours. And it's such a harder challenge in baseball because you do need to learn the lessons of what happened in last night's game. But you got to do it fast. And you got to do it without chipping away at somebody's confidence because there's another game coming here in a few hours. And so, but so much of what we do really, there's a lot of it that came from Coach Carroll, especially during his USC days into the early days of the Seahawks. But it all has to be altered to meet just a grueling schedule of 162. And so, I mean, that would be just like a clear-cut example, but I have stolen everything that you find kind of baked into the Mariners infrastructure. It's all been stolen from somewhere. And I could walk you through all of it as to where it came from and kind of the genesis of it, and then who we stole it from and who they stole it from, and how it's been tweaked a little bit in each version of it. So every coach I know is a thief, and just the way it works.
It's a compliment.
Truly. I know Bump's nodding because I can't tell you how many press conferences or interviews we've had with Carroll where he goes, Bill Walsh once said, and you're thinking like it just, kind of keeps going back. And you're like, man, so many of these things are just fundamentally true. And it's because they last generations of coaches.
They're timeless. And if you go back to really Walsh was a real, I wouldn't say turning point, but it's a huge point in the moment of coaching. And then you go back to Wooden, but the greats, it is timeless. And so many lessons that Coach Wooden put on paper for all of us to benefit from are as applicable today with Major League Baseball players as they were in the 60s with college basketball players. And the great ones are like that, and it is timeless. And you think about what are the truths in coaching, what was true 50 years ago that will still be true 50 years from now. Right. And we should probably be doing those things right now and not going down rabbit holes and chasing shiny objects, because the coaching industry is full of those too. And they come and go, but just the basics, the most fundamental things of dealing with humans and communication and motivation, they are timeless.
Assistant GM Andy McKay, kind enough to join us. We are going to talk to Emerson here in 30 seconds. We'll tell him you said hi.
Please do.
And then we'll let you go enjoy the rest of opening day. Thanks, Andy.
Thanks, Andy.
All right. Bye-bye.
See ya. All right. And switching gears here, joining us right now, Emerson Hancock. Emerson, how's it going? Thanks for hanging out.
It's good. It's good. It's good. Thanks for having me on. I was looking forward to this.
Oh, we're happy to have you. We've been asking this same question, but I always wonder it, and I know Bump does. How's opening day feel?
It's cool. It's like you wake up with just kind of the excitement, and you're ready to get to the park, and just like the view here and like seeing everything, it kind of gets a little butterflies going because you're ready to get out there, you're ready to compete, and I know we're looking forward to having the fans back out here and getting after it.
You went to Georgia. You guys have an okay football team over there. I don't know if you've heard about them. I went to Wazoo, a smaller school, right? And all of our athletics kind of just got along. And when you're having so much success over there in Georgia, what's the relationship like between just the athletic program?
Yeah, I think it's a really close-knit group. Everyone's kind of connected because you spend so much time with the other athletes, and you all go through the same things. You're talking about, competing and, the grind of classes and time management and all of that. And so it's a lot of fun. I got to meet some awesome people, and those relationships are really cool.
What do you miss about back home?
Probably the people. The people are always special, and that goes from, just where I've grown up, where me and my wife are living now, and the community that we're in, we love it. The people have been so good to us and supported us, so definitely them.
Some of the weirdest training I've ever seen is by baseball players. It's crazy. I was on Instagram earlier today, and this kid is on the mound, and he has like his arm isolated at a 90 degree, and his hand is like, I wish you guys see what I look like right now. I look silly, right? And he's throwing the baseball, and I thought, okay, I kind of see where they're going with that. What's some of the weirdest training you've ever done to get ready for a season?
I'll be honest, I can't laugh at it because I probably tried it at some point. Because I think for us, we'll try anything that'll help us and anything that we think is going to give us a little bit of an edge. The craziest stuff, I think my throwing right now is a little unconventional. Like, I enjoy just kind of moving around, making infielder type throws, and I feel like it helps my athleticism a little bit. So, and it's cool because how much it changes over time. Like, my throwing now between what it was 3 or 4 years ago is like night and day different. So, we're always trying to find something that we can do.
Baseball's unique with that. I appreciate it.
My other theory, in addition to the weirdest workouts, the weirdest training, the most superstitious athletes. Like, if you were to isolate any of the major leagues, you're looking at hockey players, football players, rugby players, no, not a major league, but literally any of them. I'm telling you, baseball players would be the most superstitious.
For sure.
Am I wrong?
I think you're right. I think we all go through it too. You have a little bit of success. You're like, all right, I don't want to change anything.
Yes.
I want to eat the same things. I want to wear the same clothes. I want to do the exact same thing when I get to the park. And if it works, it works.
Who's got the weirdest, if it works, that you know? It could be a college teammate. It could be someone else where you were like, if it works for you, it works for me.
I don't know. I don't really have anyone that comes to mind. I know, in college, I would do a bunch of the same stuff. Like, I always had to have the exact same breakfast and had to eat the exact same stuff at lunch. And as you go over time, you realize how hard it is to kind of keep up with that. So you're like, what, I just kind of want to enjoy this a little bit more. I don't want to feel like I have to wake up and do certain things just to go out and have success on the field.
How has your mentality changed as a pitcher from your first throw at Georgia to, your time here in Seattle?
I think, the foundation is very similar in terms of like who I, am as a pitcher. I think as you grow and you get older, you find, smaller things that you can do throughout the game. I think for me, the biggest thing is the trust and the confidence part of it, of understanding, the work that you're putting in is going to translate out to the game. Because as you go through professional, the lights get brighter. There's more expectations, there are more eyes on you. So it's just another opportunity for you to have to trust yourself a little bit more. And I think that's where I've grown. And you go out, you put your work in, but when you cross the lines that you're ready and you're ready to compete.
Did you go at the same time as Anthony Edwards?
He was there my last year.
Oh, did you guys ever cross paths?
I remember watching him. We would have like a little breakfast spot in the Coliseum, and every morning you would go in there, he's putting up shots.
Yeah.
So it was a really cool moment to kind of like have a little breakfast before you go to class, and you get to see the #1 overall pick putting up shots before you go in there.
Anyone from, it could be from the football team, but anyone who's like in another league where you're like, oh yeah, we're friends. So many guys from your school, including you, right? But like, it's unreal, the professional talent you guys have put out.
Yeah, I think it's really cool. And, I think the biggest thing for me was kind of seeing like Stetson Bennett and like his transformation between like, we go in together at the same time, and he was a walk-on and he goes a completely different route. And, I had left, and then when he came back, the run that they had with the football team, that's a really cool story. And, hats off to him for doing that.
My family's from the South, and I go down there, and it's just a different culture, right? I appreciate it, but it's different. What do you appreciate about the Northwest?
I think, as with everything, you're the people that make it special, and the people that you get to meet, and the people that you come across. Obviously that. I enjoy, the weather. I think early on it is a little bit chilly, but man, you can't beat the summers here. It's beautiful every day. You get to come out to the ballpark and play in that kind of weather. So probably those two things.
I can't tell if I was just hearing more of it because it was new, or because it was always the same and I never paid attention. But I know I was hearing about like Buhner being out there. Obviously Edgar and Ichiro's always there. But did it feel like there was just a lot of former Mariner star power, whether it's spring training or kind of heading into the season?
Yeah, I think having those types of people around, the success they had, is awesome.
Yeah.
For them to come back, to take the time to be around us and, help in any way that they can, that's special. And I think it speaks to this organization. It speaks to the type of people that they are. And I think we're all very grateful that they're around.
Buhner, have you doing any weird exercises?
No, not yet.
Give it time.
There's something called the batter's eye that we keep hearing about. When you're on the mound, is that even part of your thought process? Like, because I remember when I used to play, I used to try to pick out certain things, and I would convince myself, get myself hyped up, like, this is going to work. I believe in this. Do you guys even talk about the batter's eye as pitchers, or you just go out and do your thing?
Not as pitchers. I think for us, we're just trying to, get our bearings, like kind of the back of the stadium, lock in on the catcher and just go from there.
Nice. All right. Well, we have to kick you out of here, but you have more important things to do. So this is probably not up on the list, but we do appreciate your time, Emerson.
Definitely.
This has been so fun. Thank you so much. And now I'm just going to just be thinking of all these weird exercises. And I don't know exactly why Griffey and Buhner would be making anyone do it, but in my mind, I'm just thinking of maybe some older players that are like, let me tell you about what we did. No, I need to see what exercises you're talking about. You just talk to me during the break. We'll figure this out. All right. Do not go anywhere.
It's opening day. The 2025 Seattle Mariners season is here. Catch all the action here on Seattle Sports. Your home for the Mariners and opening day.
I saw her texting, coming up to a stop sign, and so I saw the accident coming, and she T-boned us.
In the blink of an eye, Crystal's life changed when she suffered a severe spinal injury.
The pain was something I had never experienced before in my neck. I got massage therapy. I saw a chiropractor. I was prescribed muscle relaxers so I could sleep. I got depressed. Nothing was relieving the pain.
Drugs, sleepless nights, and depression. Sound familiar? I'm Dr. Mark Shelley, a chiropractic physician and board-certified functional neurologist. At Sound Pain Solutions, our treatments include high-dose laser combined with spinal decompression and other comprehensive therapies to rehabilitate damaged discs. We use treatments that are non-surgical, FDA-cleared, drug and pain-free.
I was able to get off my pain medicines, and I was able to sleep through the night, and that was what I was desperate for.
To learn if you're a candidate for our treatment, call us. Sound Pain Solutions, 855-996-0025 or click soundpainsolutions.com.
Bracket busted? Don't worry, Madness Maniacs, you still have a shot at winning. Head to seattlesports.com/win to fill out your 16-team bracket. It's not too late to join in on the fun. It's the Seattle Sports Bracket Bucks presented by Muckleshoot Casino Resort. And the winner of the 16-team competition will win a $500 Visa gift card. Register and find complete rules at seattlesports.com/win. Seattle Sports Bracket Bucks presented by Muckleshoot Casino.
Did you know colon cancer can be detected early or prevented through regular screening?
I have detected Around Earth is the greatest lie ever.
Okay, Roger. My uncle just passed away and I inherited his cockatoo, Roger. He was a member of the Flat Earth Society, so Roger picked up on some of his rhetoric. Anyway, screening, such as a colonoscopy.
Screen these! Screen these!
Roger that, Roger. Moving on. Colonoscopies can detect early-stage colon or rectal cancer or even polyps, which are abnormal growths that can turn into cancer over time.
I'm a Flat Earth walker.
Come on, Roger. What did I do to my uncle to deserve you? You don't get to choose what you inherit, just like colon cancer. Unlike Roger here, I believe in science. And science says that if colon cancer runs in your family, you're more likely to develop it yourself. Talk to your doctor about when you should start screening. Find out more at coloncancercoalition.org. A message from the Colon Cancer Coalition.
What if your limited inventory had unlimited potential? What if your biggest risk was not taking one? What if you could make every move matter? Bank of America's Business Solutions can help bring your biggest what-ifs within reach. Find out how our digital tools, cutting-edge insights, and trusted expertise can work for your business. What would you like the power to do? Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. Bank of America is proud to be the official bank sponsor of FIFA World Cup 2026.
We were the Humane Society of the United States. 70 years of fighting for animals. Today, we are called Humane World for Animals, a name that reflects our unstoppable commitment to end animal cruelty globally. Humane World for Animals, the end of animal cruelty.
Subscribe to the Seattle Sports YouTube page to find new and exclusive content from your favorite shows and personalities daily. Just head to YouTube, search Seattle Sports, and click subscribe.
Bob Stelton here for Asset Roofing, and they have got the perfect slogan. You're either hiring a liability or you're hiring an asset, and I witnessed this firsthand when I met Anthony, the owner, and again when I had him do work on my roof. Now this spring, replace your aging roof with Asset Roofing because you're either hiring a liability or you're hiring an asset. Check them out at AssetRoofingCo.com. That's AssetRoofingCo.com.
Certified work that's never in doubt. Asset Roofing, excellence is on the house.
The LJ way is the Lee Johnson Auto Family.
Hello, hello. Welcome to the Lee Johnson Auto Family. This is King. This organization's a special one. They call it the Lee Johnson Auto Family, and it's not just a name. It's not just some cliche. They foster an environment for us to become a family, to work together, to really become close, and they show us in a lot of different ways that they do value us. Is it perfect? No place is. But I've been very thankful to be here in the almost 10 years and have every plan to stay here for a lot longer and just watch it continue to grow.
He's fun and professional, which explains why so many people visiting Lee Johnson Kia ask for him by name. The LJ way is the Lee Johnson Auto Family.
Making fresh produce and food affordable and accessible to all is a mission Safeway is deeply committed to. G. Scott here. Your local Safeway has all the great benefits that SNAP-eligible families love, plus exclusive savings. Right now, save 50% on Fresh Pass memberships, plus get a monthly $5 credit, free unlimited delivery, $10 of free produce, and double rewards. Check out your Safeway For You app for all details and savings, or visit Safeway.com/SNAP for details.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
We are taking a look around the NFL. One of two non-Mariners segments we got, but we got to keep you guys updated with what's happening in free agency. And the latest from Russell Wilson, now a New York Giant. Russell has never lacked in confidence. He said he's expecting to be the Giants' starting quarterback in Week 1. Cut 19. Take a listen.
First of all, obviously I'm expecting to come in there and be a starter and earning that every day because your mentality and your approach. I just believe that, when you play this position, my goal every day, step on the field, is help our football team win and ultimately to be the best in the world and be one of the best that can do it. And I think that's my mentality, understanding that. And so I'm excited about the opportunity to lead everybody. It's not just
excited about the opportunity to lead everybody. And I got to be honest, considering that room is made up of Jameis Winston, who is the other one? Tommy DeVito? Tommy Cutlets. Tommy Cutlets and maybe TBD, whoever's drafted. I think it's fair for Russ to expect that a franchise very much in transition might have him start Week 1.
Yeah, they can draft a quarterback, and I think he would be just fine. I think Shedeur Sanders has been connected to that team, that organization. Learn from Russell. Forget what you think about him and his personality. This guy has been a good quarterback in this league for a while. If he's not your cup of tea, it's not your cup of tea, but he's reliable, man. He made that Steelers team look decent last year. Didn't end the way that they wanted to, but he can still play some ball, so I think he's the perfect guy for that situation. Again, my question is, what is that media going to be like with him? Give that man some slack. He's not Russell of 2016-17.
My question is whether he's going to have a better season than Aaron Rodgers. I think I made a bet that I might not be able to cash.
But it's looking better than I thought it was. I thought he'd just be a backup. So at least we think he's going to be a starter now.
Well, and I thought that, yes, going to be a starter now. I'm holding out hope, and this sounds so bad, that Aaron Rodgers just decides to retire because that means that I win the bet. But unfortunately, it looks like the Steelers are the ones holding out hope. Not making any moves whatsoever. They're not starting Mason Rudolph. They are waiting for Aaron Rodgers to agree. It feels like the weirdest standoff ever because there's one place he can really go and kind of one place who really wants him. And it's like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
What is this? Next story. Vikings GM Kwesi Adofo-Mensah spoke on Wednesday about his team's quarterback situation. Cut 17.
at every checkpoint, whether it been the draft process or practice until the injury, or really the offseason now, he's met the bar. I mean, he's exceeded our expectations at every point. And so I don't have the ability to tell you what the future is, but I can tell you what I expect to be the outcome this offseason from the competition. But it's also our job to set up a quarterback room that's going to have, be able to meet, have great ideas, and prepare whoever it is to play, but also provide, insurance in case somebody needs to come in for a couple of games. And that's our job as a personnel department to look at all the options out there and make sure we're setting ourselves up for the best case we can.
Are one of those options still Aaron Rodgers, cut 18? Take a listen.
Can you say definitively then the door is closed with Rodgers? It kind of sounds like ultimately it was his decision and we're still looking for a veteran quarterback. Can you say that door?
I don't know that it was ultimately, I don't know that I said it was ultimately his decision. I don't want to make sure that, I think that I said that given where we are scenario-wise, we didn't think it was the right move at this time. It is also his decision to whether he signs with another team, not. That's ultimately up to another player. For me to sit here and say that, anything's 100% forever, that's just not the job, right?
Well, all right.
I'm bouncing around with that one. But yeah, we
So
didn't
I didn't
want him,
say that.
but he might have been wanted to come here, but no, he doesn't want to come here. But hey, the door's never closed. It's just he's doing what he's supposed to do in this situation. Maybe. I think if I were McCarthy, I would love for him to come out and say, look, we got a young guy over here that we think can really get it done. So we're going to focus our attention there. The fact that he wouldn't commit either way is doing the dance that GMs do. But if you want JJ to go into the situation feeling like he's the guy, you say something. But we talked about JJ the other day, and he said, look, they haven't informed me that I'm going to be the starter. So maybe they're still looking. But where are you looking at this point? Russell's already inked up. Feels like Aaron Rodgers is going to be inked up. Are you going to look to bring back Kirk Cousins and hold that down for a little bit? I mean, who else is out there? No one worth putting in front of J.J. McCarthy is out there.
Did you see Stephen A. Smith's retort to J.J. McCarthy saying that the Vikings hadn't told him he's the number one quarterback?
No, what did he say?
So for anyone who doesn't know, J.J. McCarthy said, well, the Vikings haven't told me I'm QB1. And so Stephen A., I think on First Take, I'm not sure, was like, respectfully, what do you need them to tell you? Look at all of their actions. All of their actions are pointing to the fact that you are like they drafted you high in the first round. You would probably be playing had you not messed up your knee. Sam Darnold is gone. Daniel Jones is gone. No one else is there. Of course it's you. Like, what do you need them to tell you? Now you just have to go out and play. Like, why don't you go out and earn it?
It's not how this works. His love language is words of affirmation. He needs that, all right? So, yeah, but Stephen A's right.
Stephen A.
What else they need to do?
Well, and his point is ultimately like, yeah, you can kind of assume you're the guy, but you're still a rookie.
Yeah.
Why don't you earn that role too?
Man, I know. I feel that, but also, I mean, there are rookies who were told and knew. But, yeah, Vikings, they're doing their own thing.
Speaking of soon-to-be rookies, top pass rush prospect Abdul Carter won't work out at Penn State's pro day, per his agent Drew Rosenhaus. He's still rehabbing a shoulder injury he suffered in Penn State's Fiesta Bowl, and I don't blame him for this one. I know some people always wonder, like, oh, if someone doesn't work out at a combine or doesn't do something, does it mean they'll work out at their pro day? This is a clear case to me of he could go number one, probably number 2, 3, 4. Why would he risk injuring himself?
Listen, he's one of the few players in this draft that can do exactly what he wants to do. If he doesn't want to compete at pro day and run and do and catch and do all that good stuff, so be it. He's still going to get drafted. It does not affect his draft status. There are some guys who need pro day, who need the combine. He's not one of them. Rest up and get ready to sign your check in Meekadale.
Next up, NFL Network's Jane Slater reports Micah Parsons and the Cowboys have met this offseason, but still no contract offers have been made. Not new form for a Cowboys team that took forever to extend Dak Prescott, took forever to extend and meet with CeeDee Lamb. Slater added the two sides met at the Combine, but really nothing came from it.
Yeah. I mean,
you think he's on the move, or they'll trade him, or maybe
so.
enter into the final year?
No, Michael Parsons is the best player on that football team right now. Yeah. I know you can point to CeeDee Lamb, a healthy regular season. Dak Prescott is pretty good, but when it comes to just a player who changes the game with his presence alone, it is Micah Parsons. So I think it'd be in their best, bet to hold on to this guy. But I would also understand if they traded him because of all the money that's involved in this situation. But we're talking about the Dallas Cowboys. Who knows what they're going to do, when they're going to do it, and how they're going to do it.
ESPN's Matt Miller's 7-round mock draft. God, What a lot of work.
What a sicko.
A 7-round mock draft.
Get a
He's like
life.
Dale
Get a
Earnhardt
job.
Jr. filling out his roster for college football.
We get it. You know draft
Matt.
prospects.
Oh, Matt. Matt Miller, 7-round mock draft has been released. He has the Seahawks taking Matthew Golden at 18, Georgia guard Tate Ratledge at 50, Georgia center Jared Wilson at 52. He's also got Seattle taking an edge rusher late Josiah Stewart at 82, and another tackle adding to that depth with Ozzie Trapilo at 92.
If it went down like that, I'd walk away happy. But we know it's not going to go down like that.
Oh.
It's 7 rounds. There's no way he's sitting there for hours doing this. He's got to have an intern helping him out with this or something. 7 rounds. But if it were to happen like that, well, you go a receiver, you go a guard, you go a center, then another guard, I think is what you said.
Yeah, he's got 3 offensive linemen.
Yeah, I wouldn't be mad at all.
What do you think people would be mad about for the second time in 3 years, right? A wide receiver getting selected.
I think they're going to be mad at that. They, at the 18, you go wide receiver, they're going to have something to say about it. But we also know, or I think we should know and feel that they need a young wideout over there. Like, Bobo's fine, Derek Young is fine, but you want somebody who can play with JSN for the next 3 to 4 years. Is
Matthew Golden the clear best receiver in the class? Like, that would be a spot where you're like, this makes total sense, they got a steal? Or would it be a moment of like, because they do need a receiver. Yeah. I mean, they could add to that group. They don't have a lot of young guys, with high upside to turn to outside of JSN.
Only thing about Matthew Golden is that he's not very big. He's like 5'10", 5'11". So they say JSN is 6 foot. And then you have a Cooper Kupp who's like 6'2", and MVS who's about 6'1", 6'2". It's just, if I'm going receiver, I think you go for the best one. But I'm telling you, my favorite receiver in this draft is Trey Harris out of Ole Miss, man. If they were to grab him somehow, I'd be ecstatic.
Are though finding yourself, because I'm wondering if I'm finding myself going this way, becoming more and more comfortable and almost preferring that the pick isn't a guard at 18?
Yeah, because when you read and you listen to all these experts out there, they don't speak highly about the guard position. It feels like there are a bunch out there later on in the draft who are equivalent to each other. So why swing early at a guard when you feel like you can get a good one late?
Had a couple great interviews so far on opening day, learning more and more about this team for 2025. We'll tell you what's sticking with us next.
It's opening day. The 2025 Seattle Mariners season is here. Catch all the action here on Seattle Sports. Your home for the Mariners and opening day.
Hey, what's up? It's Michael Bumpus for Silver Reef Casino. I'm actually headed up there this weekend, and I cannot wait to get in their Deluxe King rooms. And when I'm done, I'm all settled down. I'm going down, and I'm going to the restaurant. They got one of the best steakhouses in the Northwest. And then if you want some Mexican food, they have the new Cantina. When it's all said and done, you know I got to watch some March Madness at the Portage Bay Sports Bar. And if the weather's good, I'm hitting the links. Loomis Trail Golf Course is going to be there. Worst case, I'll hit the range. I'll go to their historic clubhouse. Are you feeling some FOMO? If you are, make sure you go visit silverreefcasino.com to book your stay today.
Taxes was taxing. Now taxes is relaxing when you file for free.
I can file for free? TurboTax Free Edition. Roughly 37% of filers qualify. Simple Form 1040 returns only. See if you qualify at turbotax.com/free. I can file for free.
Now this is taxes. File for free with TurboTax Free Edition and get your maximum refund. No schedules except for earned income tax credit, child tax credit, and student loan interest. See if you qualify at turbotax.com/free.
Pro Savings Days are back at Lowe's with limited time savings on the supplies pros need. Get up to 40% off select major appliances. Plus, save an additional $100 on every $1,000 you spend on select major appliances. And don't miss your chance to activate and earn 3 times the points on select DeWalt and Klein tools. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 3/28. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. See associate or Lowe's.com for more details on qualifying items. Pro Savings Days are back at Lowe's with limited time savings on the supplies pros need. Get up to 40% off select major appliances. Plus, save an additional $100 on every $1,000 you spend on select major appliances. And don't miss your chance to activate and earn 3 times the points on select DeWalt and Klein tools. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 3/28. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. See associate or Lowe's.com for more details on qualifying items.
When you switch to Progressive, you could save bundling your home and auto. Then you could put that money towards some of the surprisingly more expensive things in life.
May I help you?
I just wanted to request a late checkout, please.
Of course. That's $30 per hour for up to 4 hours.
Huh. Okay, but if you can offer a late checkout, then that probably means no one is staying in that room. So if it's empty, maybe I can just stay a few extra hours.
Oh, aren't you adorable?
Life costs a lot, so bundle and you could save with Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
Protein, protein, protein. Everyone is trying to get protein in their diet. But we need fats too. Healthy fat, that is. Like the rich, natural peanut and almond butters found in G2G protein bars. Most bars don't have it because, well, most bars aren't real food or refrigerated. Fortunately for you, we aren't most bars. At G2G, you'll find a balanced helping of protein and healthy fat. The fact that they're delicious is just the bonus. They're fast, easy, and perfect for on-the-go families. G2G protein bars. Find them in the refrigerated section at Costco.
It's opening day. The 2025 Seattle Mariners season is here. Catch all the action here on Seattle Sports. Your home for the Mariners and opening day.
By texting 64000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from Real Success. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at ourrealsuccess.com.
Do you want to learn how to make money flipping houses and acquiring rental properties right here in Seattle? We're offering a handful of motivated individuals the opportunity to attend our workshop right here in Seattle for free. That's right. We'll give you 2 free tickets when you text FLIP to 64000. Seattle is the perfect market to flip houses and build rental income. Discover the simple steps developed by Joe Arias, one of real estate's greatest rags to riches stories. You'll learn to flip properties and secure rental properties without using your own money and in your spare time. Don't miss this opportunity. Come to a complimentary live 2-hour workshop next week right here in Seattle and learn how to start making money flipping homes and building long-term wealth with rental properties. To get 2 free tickets, text FLIP to 64000. Text in the next 10 minutes and registrants will also receive a free copy of our Funding for Deals guide. Text FLIP to 64000 for 2 complimentary tickets. Text FLIP to 64000.
1877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today. 1877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate your car today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car, running or not, can be picked up as soon as the next day. You'll get a maximum tax deduction and a vacation voucher.
1877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
All right, some really good interviews from opening day so far. Gary Hill going to join us in about 15. Before we get to it, we spoke with Tony Arnerich, the bullpen coach, Emerson Hancock, and assistant GM Andy McKay. A lot sticking out from these interviews as we learn a bit more about how folks with this team are viewing this team in 2025. Bump, one thing that stood out to me, our conversation with Andy when he talked about learning from coaching greats, and he said everything, like every principle you can find within the Mariners organization has been stolen from someone else. And by that, he means that great principles kind of surpass and go through generations. And every great coach that he's learned something from stole that from another great coach. I thought it was a good way to look at kind of things we learned to be true about sports.
I mean, you've heard of the saying, imitation is the biggest form of flattery, right? That's all stealing coaches' philosophies are. And when someone is taking anything that you've instilled into your program, it means it works. And even when you're inside, when you are that coach who's instilling this philosophy, and maybe it's new, you're going out on a limb and taking a risk and saying, let's try this out. You're the guinea pig. You're the test dummy for everyone else out there. But that's coaching to a T, man. That is building organizations. That's just human nature. If you're doing something on this show that I think is fire, I'm like, you know what, I'm going to take a little bit of what Stacy's doing. I'm going to add that to my repertoire. So, no, I love that that's his way of attacking things. I think that's the perfect way to do it.
We also talked with Emerson Hancock. You asked him a lot about his time at Georgia. What stood out from our conversation with Emerson?
Emerson just I asked him about his development mentally and how he used to be so strict about, I'm going to eat the same thing every day. I'm going to be at the same spot every day. And then you realize, okay, that's not possible. I could probably do that about 75, 80% of the time, but I have to be able to adjust. And I think in athletics, that's all you're doing. You're constantly adjusting, right? And when you're playing an outdoor sport, the atmosphere is different. You go to a different ballpark. Remember when they were playing in Oakland for a while when 20 people showed up? You got to get yourself hyped, to play the A's. So just being able to adjust and not being too hard on yourself when things don't go your way, that's kind of what stood out to me speaking to him, and I think that is important for especially young athletes. If you got a young athlete and they're listening right now, man, just tell them roll with the punches. You can try to be as consistent as possible, but you're not robots. You're human beings, so being able to adjust is important.
Speaking of rolling with the punches, thinking about Tony saying, lesson learned or like a tough lesson and kind of like a rep. I like the way he phrased it that way, that everything can be a rep. Any tough lesson, I mean, you could look at it in life in general, like any horrible moment could be a rep that you're getting better at dealing with horrible moments. But for him, it was tough conversations as a coach, maybe approaching a guy after a bad day on the mound and that guy's bad day being just a rep.
Yeah, it's a rep, it's a learning experience, and it's a way to prepare yourself mentally for the inevitable, which is failure at some point, whether it be one pitch, one inning, one game, a year. It doesn't matter. Like, you have to be able to take it for what it is and see it as a rep. I like that. I think I'm going to tell my son that he has a match today at Cedar Crest Golf Course, and he's going to hit a bad shot. You're going to do it. So I'm going to say, hey, it's just a rep. Yeah. Check it up. Let's go.
I really was applying that to like life in general. Yeah. I thought it was really good insight. And then I also thought about we didn't spend too much time focusing on this part of what he was saying, but what Tony was saying as part of his answer is like, when you need to tell guys we're sending you back down, or when you need to tell guys, hey, we're going to rest you, or hey, I don't know that Tony would ever be part of like a we got to let you go conversation, but like when you have these conversations as a coach, the not fun parts of coaching, that those can be reps too.
The first year I was a head coach, I let go of 3 coaches, like 2 before the season started and 1 right when the season started, because we weren't seeing eye to eye on things and it just didn't feel like it was a good situation. My first time firing somebody, right? Took it as a rep. Now, I'm not saying I'm good at firing people, but I don't want to fire anybody, but learning from that situation is like, what did I do good in that situation? What would I change? How was my communication? It helps everywhere. So just conflict. And I think that that's probably one of the toughest things to do in the athletic world is let people go. I remember being let go when I was with the Seahawks. They sat me down and told me why they're letting me go and having to deal with it and learn from it. The greats have failed. Tiger Woods, Michael Jordan, Barry Bonds, Trout, whoever. They've all failed. And if you're not learning from that, then it's just going to haunt you and you're not going to reach your full potential.
Going back to both Andy and Tony, both obviously really excited about what this team can do this year. Andy mentioned the youth that they have as an organization, and granted, he's from the player development angle, so he's going to know a lot of these guys. But, you open the show by saying, I'm kind of watching Bliss. Like, what if this ends up being rather than, what are the Mariners doing here? I don't know this guy as well as I would some big name free agent. You were saying, well, what if it ends up being a really exciting young guy and he's only 25 years old?
Yeah, it could. People can look at this move in 2 different ways, and you and I have talked about this. You can look at this move as this is all we got. We got him, put him out there. Or you can look at the move as he earned this spot, and we want to give him a chance because he's earned it. He went out during spring training and did enough for us to go out there on a limb and take a risk and put a young man out there. And I think that's fun. It's fun because it's happening from within. He was acquired via trade, but it's happening from within, right? He's worked his way up. We saw a little bit of him last year, and now he's earned this opportunity. And that's fun. When you can watch the beginning of someone's journey, and we've done that with Emerson, we've done that with Bryce, with Wu, and all these other players. It makes it the storyline behind it just becomes more intriguing. And yeah, there's going to be Julio out there. There's going to be Randy. Logan's going to be on the mound, and they are going to get the attention, and they deserve that. But you got to have role players who step up, and maybe Bliss can be one of them.
Oh, and sometimes you have guys that are more than role players that step up into leadership roles. One of the players he talked about being like, Yeah, I got a little emotional, or the last time that he could think of getting kind of sentimental was realizing how far Cal's gone. Talked about texting him, to congratulate him or talk to him with that contract extension, and realizing that the picture he had of Cal was still college Cal for the contact image. And the point was just to point out how long he's been part of that journey and kind of watching like what it must feel like when a player you believe in becomes the player you thought they were.
Yeah, that's fun. That's if you are a coach, you're a GM, you're a teacher, anything, you're a manager somewhere, that is one of the most fulfilling things, I think, is watching somebody come into their own. Because I could imagine him looking at Cal Raleigh back when he was at Florida State and then seeing him on his journey. He's grown. I mean, Cal is a grown man now who just signed a deal for $100+ million, and he earned it. Going back to what I was talking about, Blitz, he earned that. So it has to be rewarding when one of your investments work out and you're able to lock him down for a while and you understand and appreciate what he means to this organization.
All right. The countdown is on to Mariners opening day. In fact, it's here. So make sure to be here for all the festivities, including a ceremonial first pitch from Ichiro and special platinum and gold glove presentations for Cal and Demo. I believe tickets are still available. Make sure you grab yours at mariners.com. Opening day, 7:10 p.m. Logan Gilbert getting an opening day start. And we are going to talk about Logan's start. We're going to talk about this team. We're going to get back to some of those what ifs, Bump. We talked about what if Julio hits 30 bombs? What if Bliss ends up having a couple web gems? What if he's great defensively and surprises so many of us? A lot of really fun what ifs to talk about with this team. We'll talk about what they could look like, what needs to go right with Gary Hill. He joins us next.
It's opening day. The 2025 Seattle Mariners season is here. Catch all the action here on Seattle Sports. Your home for the Mariners and opening day.
Hey, it's Jason Rance. I'm here with our local tax expert and advocate, Greg Nunn of None Better Tax Resolution. When you're dealing with business owners and the idea that they owe money to the IRS and they feel like they might be letting their staff down, and it just spirals out of control.
One thing I see with businesses, it's really tough because they have employees and maybe they're having a difficult time with the cash flow of the business. Then unfortunately, what a business often does is they quit making their payroll tax deposits, which is really about the worst thing you could be doing. I mean, it's a telltale sign if you're doing that. Hey, get someone that can help you kind of look at your business and see if things can be changed so that you can operate your business better and make those payroll tax deposits. Because let me tell you this, the IRS is on those right away.
If you're having trouble with the IRS, you have to call Greg Nunn of None Better Tax Resolution. From stress to success with IRS Solutions. 425-947-1967 or Google NUNN. None Better Tax Resolution.
For over 113 years, Pacific Lamp and Supply Company has been your #1 lighting specialist in Washington, from the Space Needle in Seattle all the way to the Riverwalk in Spokane. With the largest lighting inventory in Washington, Pacific Lamp's knowledgeable and experienced staff can assist with any lighting issue, including intricate lighting and control designs. Plus, they work with all utilities in Washington to get you the best available lighting rebates. Pacific Lamp and Supply Company, Washington's lighting experts since 1912. Visit pacificlamp.com.
Over the past decade, Washington state politicians have doubled state spending with no improvements to the issues we care about. Instead, we now have the 3rd highest cost of living in the nation and a $12 billion deficit. It's time to tell legislators we need better results, not bigger taxes. Act now at affordablewashington.org. Paid for by people for an affordable Washington and Olympia, Washington. Top 5 donors are Washington Alliance for Competitive Economy, Microsoft, Madrona, T-Mobile, and Alaska Air.
Discover LeMay, America's car museum in Tacoma. Explore 300 world-class cars, 100 years of history, and the Shinka exhibit with 50 iconic Japanese sports cars. Thrilling race simulators and fun for the whole family. Visit americascarmuseum.org.
Through March 31st, save double your sales tax from Lake Washington Windows and Doors. Plus, enjoy easy 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest, same as cash, 12-month financing. Visit LakeWashingtonWindows.com to save double today.
Bracket busted?
Don't worry, Madness Maniacs, you still have a shot at winning. Head to seattlesports.com/win to fill out your 16-team bracket. It's not too late to join in on the fun. It's the Seattle Sports Bracket Bucks presented by Muckleshoot Casino Resort. And the winner of the 16-team competition will win a $500 Visa gift card. Register and find complete rules at seattlesports.com/win. Seattle Sports Bracket Bucks presented by Muckleshoot Casino.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
Are you really that different than the rest of us?
We are. As a fiduciary, we always focus on what's best for our clients.
What services do you offer besides investing?
We have a team of specialists in financial planning, estate planning, and more.
Your clients rely on you for all that?
Yes, we ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Okay, but you still sell commission-based products, right?
No, because we believe that's a conflict of interest. We prioritize service over sales goals.
So, then how do your fees work?
We have a simple and transparent fee that's a percentage of our clients' portfolios. So we do better when our clients do better.
Wow, we're more different than I thought.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at fisherinvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
This might be the most surprising statistic I've shared in decades of doing local news. More than 75% of commuters will be involved in a car accident at some point. JP Pendergast of Pendergast Law with more.
What makes it more surprising? The average person will be involved in 3 to 4 collisions in their lifetime.
With accidents unbelievably prevalent, what are some safety tips if it happens to you?
Safety first. Secondary collisions are not uncommon while awaiting help. Turn on those hazards and remain in a safe place. If a bystander witnessed the accident, capture their information and encourage them to remain at the scene. Seek medical attention immediately if needed, as delaying can be a costly mistake. Lastly, remember that statements made to police and insurance adjusters can affect your case.
Collisions are more common than we'd like to think. If you find yourself in one, follow these helpful tips and then call my friends at Pendergast Law.
If you or a loved one's injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
PendergastLaw.com.
Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
It's opening day for the Mariners. First pitch is at 7:10 p.m. Logan Gilbert gets the start. We are here live from T-Mobile. Mariners broadcaster Gary Hill joining us in 30 seconds.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
This hour is brought to you by Mazda of Everett.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bump and Stacy
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
Here we go now. Mariners broadcaster Gary Hill live with us now at T-Mobile. We are hours away from opening day. Logan Gilbert on the mound for a start. I don't know how many people were like shocked that it was Logan, right? One of the conversations, Gary, that we were having is, who's it going to be? Are we sure it's going to be Luis Castillo? Nor was I shocked to hear the great, response that his teammates had. What should I expect to see tonight from Logan? What are you looking for?
Yeah, that's a conversation I feel like we haven't had a lot of. What to expect tonight? I'm going to go out on a limb. I expect him to pitch well.
Nice.
Yes.
Bold take for opening night.
I'm really excited to see where it goes for Logan this year. He had a tremendous year last year. 200 innings, 200-plus strikeouts. There's only 6 guys in franchise history that have done that. He's really elevated himself into – like when you're listening to national folks throw out, wow, who could win the Cy Young? You hear a lot of Tarek Skubal, of course, but Logan Gilbert's a name that you're hearing a lot in that conversation. He's a guy that people are now looking at from the outside, where I feel like he was under the radar for the last couple of years. I don't think that's the case anymore. I think everyone knows who Logan Gilbert is, and he pitched like an ace last year. So I'm super anxious to see what this follow-up looks like, because he's really stair-stepped every season of his career so far. He's just gotten better and better and better. So we'll see what this year looks like.
So I was doing some prep for this game, and I'm thinking, man, it's the It's the A's, man. They should get this, right? And then I'm reading about the A's and hearing from their side. And they feel good about this nucleus, right? They were like 39 and 37 the second half of the season. So they feel good about it. And it started to kind of shift the way that I'm looking at this series. I go, all right, well, is there a way that the M's lose this first game, but we still feel good about what we're seeing?
It's the hardest thing about opening day because you've been waiting forever. You're so excited. If you end up losing the game, it feels so bad. Yeah, but it is only one game. It's one game out of 162. So, and it's one baseball game, which literally anything can happen.
Right.
So, if they lose tonight, it's just a thing that happens. I don't think it's any indication on this season. But you're right. The A's have some helium. You know, I was the same kind of talking heads you hear from on the outside. In the last couple of days, I heard somebody pick the A's to win the division. I've heard somebody pick the A's to go to the postseason. I think they will be a better team. I don't think they'll be able to track down the Mariners, Astros, and Rangers. Maybe I'll be wrong on that. But they have a pretty fun group of position players, and they've locked a couple of them up that are going to have really good years. The question I think they'll have to answer is the rotation. And they have Severino, who they signed in the offseason, who's going tonight, who has a track record. He's been an all-star a couple of times. After that, there's some question marks there. And that's where I think when you look at the Mariners and A's side by side, that's the big difference. It's the rotation.
Earlier, we had a story about the Dodgers having the best World Series odds since like 2002 Yankees. And then the next closest team, the Braves, still projected with only 93 wins. It feels like from obviously the NL, but certainly the AL, it's just kind of a cluster in the middle, right? And I'm curious to see which teams pull apart. Does that make you anxious or excited about what the Mariners could do? Because they might be in this.
I think it's super exciting because in the American League, I'm with you. There is no clear-cut favorite.
No.
You could talk to 10 different people. They could give you 10 different answers on who they think is going to be the American League champion and go to the World Series. I think you can make the case for a lot of different teams. And in a smaller sense, I think the AL West is exactly like that. Like, you could map out a scenario where the Mariners, Rangers, or Astros take the division. I think it's, as we go into the season, it's all right there for each of them, I think. So, and the whole American League is like that. I don't know. I have no idea how this is going to play out, which is pretty fun. And, you know, it's funny, even on the Dodgers side of things, where they're going to make the playoffs, but the playoffs are a whole different animal. And just because they have the team they have in a 5-game series and a 7-game series, they're not guaranteed to win it all, even though I think they're going to the postseason, because that's just the way the playoffs work. If they match up with Atlanta in a 5-game series, of course Atlanta could take that series. So I think the American League's a scramble, and I don't think the Dodgers are guaranteed either, at least to win it all.
Nothing's guaranteed in this life, Gary.
That's right.
Nothing's guaranteed.
That's good advice.
Any surprises with this roster? I mean, I don't see any, but was there something that you thought would be a bit different?
So I guess there were no surprises as spring had gone on. If you had said before spring that Rowdy Tellez, who wasn't even on the spring roster, was going to be on the opening day, it would be like, oh, okay, I didn't expect that. But outside of that, I don't think there were any big, because I think we all saw it develop. I think we saw Ryan Bliss kind of assert himself as a guy who's going to get some cracks at this to start the season at second base. And I think we saw Tellez as, they could use a lefty bat to get some DH plate appearances. And it's like, yeah, he fits that bill. So he's going to get some chances early in the season. So from that perspective, there weren't surprises, which is a good thing because it means outside of George Kirby, it means they didn't have any big injury issues they were dealing with down the stretch, position-wise or pitching-wise. I mean, outside of Kirby, they didn't have any big surprises. They didn't have to fill anyone's spot. It was basically a boring spring training in that regard, which is exactly what you want. You don't want the excitement. You don't want the turmoil. And outside of Kirby, it was good that way.
Yeah.
Switching gears to talk still about Julio here. We had David Schoenfield on, and he said that he would be, in terms of particular stats, maybe looking at chase rate, because he was like, it just feels like maybe one of the easier ways to track, like, are you seeing improvement with, what most people might have struggled, at times with when it came to Julio. Is that a stat you're going to find yourself tracking? Is there maybe something else, and it doesn't have to be strictly a stat where you go, I'm going to be looking at this April, May, June for Julio?
Yeah, that's a good one. I like chase rate a lot. I follow that not only with Julio, but everyone in general, because I think it's pretty telling. I think when you look at the numbers, when you make contact inside the zone and outside the zone, they're vastly different. The numbers inside the zone, the slugging percentage is much higher. The batting average is much higher. The damage, everything is so much higher. It is hard to have success in Major League Baseball right now when you're consistently going out of the zone. Some guys can do it, but they're mostly just freaks, and so you don't want to pattern yourself after that.
Right.
So that is something to watch, certainly. And I also think it is, for Julio specifically, I feel like it can be an indication of how much he's putting on himself. Because I feel like, especially early in the season last year, he would swing out of the zone more often with the feeling of, I've got to make this happen right now, instead of letting the game come to him a little more, if that makes sense. It comes from a good place. He wants to be the guy. He wants the Mariners to win. He wants to be the one that does it. I think he felt a little bit more pressure, especially early in the season when the offense struggled so much. And I think we saw the reverse of that at the end of the year last year when the offense was cooking and he was a big part of it. I don't think he felt the same sort of pressure to carry the load because there are other guys carrying the load.
You think Emerson's feeling any pressure? I mean, he's filling in. He's in that rotation, and obviously Kirby's a big part of that thing.
Yeah.
Obviously, when you talk to an athlete, he was just here, they have this confidence about him or they wouldn't be here. But what do you think he's going through?
I had a long conversation with him on the last day of spring training before we came back. And what struck me is, and I think what helps him is he was in this exact same scenario last year. And it's interesting because he's very aware of the situation. He knows there's 5 great guys in the rotation, and he's coming to camp not knowing where he's going to start. But I do feel like he knows that he's going to get starts this season because it's baseball, and it's going to happen. He's going to take starts. And for the second year in a row, he's going to take starts. He's going to be part of the opening day team because Wu missed the beginning of last year. So just talking to him, I feel like he's really comfortable about where he is. He's made some adjustments. During spring, added a sweeper, so he's a little bit of a different pitcher as well. But I think he's the most comfortable he has been with himself as a pitcher. And I think as we watch him pitch, and for the Mariners, like, I don't think they're asking him to be George Kirby or asking him to dominate other lineups. I think they're just asking him to, hey, keep us in a game, right? Keep us in a game, help us win a game. You don't have to go the distance. Give us 5 good innings. I think that's what you're looking for with Emerson Hancock.
I obviously, as did everyone else here, knew who Randy Arozarena was when he was acquired via trade. But I've found myself kind of, as I'm writing my notes for the season, going, well, who is he supposed to be with the Mariners? Like, who should I be expecting of him? Like, I think the big name, but then I'm like, well, what's a fair expectation? What do I think they're turning to him for? And then I remember we only had, 50-something odd games of Randy. So when you think of Randy, and not just how you'll be watching his season, but what you think the Mariners are kind of looking to him for, what is that?
That's a really good question. I think, yes. I think they are looking for him to be a middle-of-the-order bat, to be a productive bat. What does that mean numbers-wise? I don't know. That's where I don't know either. I don't know what that looks like. Like, he's going to be a 20-20 guy because he's always a 20-20 guy. He's going to get you 20 home runs. He's going to get you 20 stolen bases. But I'm really optimistic about especially the first 5 in this lineup and how it lays out. Like, I think Robles is going to be a productive player. I don't think he's going to match what he did in September last year because it was all worldly. But I think he'll be productive. I think Julio's going to have a really good year. I think Cal is Cal, Arozarena, and Rayleigh. Like, that is a legit first 5 in the order. And Arozarena, I think, is a big part of that. I mean, he's going to be right in the middle of everything. And I think they're looking for production. And if Robles is doing his thing and Julio's doing his thing, he's going to get a ton of chances to drive in runs.
In preseason, spring training, any sport, right, you have your guys out there. And that's where you expect mistakes. You expect it not to look like you're in mid-season form. And in Peoria, defensively, there were some mistakes.
Yeah.
Is that the way they're looking at this? Like, all right, man, that was spring training. That can't happen, but we're not too concerned about some of the struggles that we've seen.
That's a good question. I didn't want to leave you out.
Okay, you're just evening it up now.
Yeah,
she's been kicking my butt.
I really felt bad. No, I think we're all going to be watching the defense early on in the season, especially for me, especially the infield defense, because You have Polanco playing third base, who hasn't played at third base. And I don't think, I mean, there were some positive signs in spring training, but I don't think any of us know what that's going to look like day to day. You know, Rayleigh has not played a ton of first base. Like, I think he'll be fine there, but he hasn't played a ton there. And we haven't seen Bliss play at second base a lot. And, you know, JP, I think healthy is going to be fine as shortstop. But I think there are some question marks about the infield defense as we move forward. And a lot of it's just a mystery. We just don't know because we haven't seen it. So it's something we're all going to be watching, especially early in the season.
Speaking of something everyone was watching, Matt Brash, obviously one of those guys. So happy to hear that his outing was phenomenal, and he had such great quotes. We were reading them from Shannon and her write-up for it, and I felt so great. Then I was like, okay, well, wait a minute. It's still going to take some time. Pause. So we spoke with Tony earlier, and I was like, okay, I'm not going to ask Tony big questions about his guys because it puts him in a bad spot, but I can ask Gary.
Yes.
So let's
you can
talk
put
about,
me in a bad spot
I'll put you in a bad spot.
Yes.
So let's talk about the bullpen, and it's not like is it in a bad place, but like tell me what to expect and kind of like what are my questions as a Mariners fan if the season's starting, and what can I maybe look forward to as we do get some guys back?
Yes, I think this is pivotal for the Mariners as we watch this play out early in the season, because I'm one. As the offense that got all the attention last year with the struggles, like there were bullpen struggles last year. And in the 7th and 8th in particular, they would have times getting the ball to Munoz. And then it got, you know, when Schneider and Taylor, they really settled things down late in the season. Now, the Mariners don't have Taylor to start this season. And when you look on the horizon, they're going to get Brash back. They're going to get Taylor back. You know, got Kowar, who I think will be part of this too. Like, there's a lot of good arms available that will be coming soon. The question is, what about these first 2 weeks? How will things be mapped out? And it's really interesting going into today how that's going to look. Like, I think Colin Snyder is going to be a guy they're going to lean on because he did it last year. He was great last year. I think they're going to lean on him early this year. Gabe Spire, I think, is a big key to this because 2 years ago, he was a huge key to their bullpen. Going into last year, they kind of had 4 guys at the back end. You had Munoz, you had Santos, Spire, and Brash. And unfortunately, 3 of those guys were injured and didn't pitch very much. Spire looked great in spring training. He was popping good velo, 96, 97 from the left side, which is unique. I think he's going to be a guy they're going to lean on. I'm wondering with Santos, I don't know if they'll go right to him and leverage stuff, but I think quickly, given his stuff, he could work his way into a leverage situation. But I think it's a little fluid to start. You know, they have a lot of guys returning, Thornton and guys like that. They can rely on Saucedo. But I'm really curious to see how it plays out the first couple of weeks, especially before Brash and Taylor get here.
I cannot wait to see Santos. He's like my spirit animal when he's on there. Like, the energy, he could be like a DB in NFL just with how passionate he is about his stuff. Random question. So when I get to the ballpark early, I like to get here early. I go straight to Kid Valley and get me a burger.
Oh, nice.
What's your go-to?
Oh, that's great. So Ballard Pizza down the hall. It's right here, too, which is unfortunate. It's so close. I kind of wish it would be a little further away because I don't have time to get there. But you don't really have a good excuse when it's like 4 steps that way. That's my go-to.
Yeah,
that's especially on a little chilly night.
Yeah.
Go get some pizza.
Yeah, it's great.
What's something else you're looking forward to with the season? Like, I'm looking forward to, this is a weird way to say it, but having games on in the background. Like, I'm genuinely looking forward to having a game on in the background while I'm doing, like, household chores. Bump, you've talked about maybe, like, you know, you're not really golfing quite yet. Maybe a little cold. No, you've already started. You've been out there. I'm fooling myself. But, like, the idea of having a game on in the background, to me, just feels spring and summery.
Yes.
What's something that you can't wait to experience?
I love that, by the way, because it's the unique... the unique aspect of baseball. It feels like it's with us every single day. It's like our constant companion, whether we're grilling in the backyard or driving around with errands or whatever.
They're literally going to hear your voice.
Yeah.
Like they're hearing it now.
I love.
You'll be there.
Yeah, yes, I'm sorry about that. But yes, I will be there. I love the everyday nature of it. I love the grind of baseball, and I love the success and failure every single day, and then you come back and you do it all over again the next day. I love getting in the weeds with it all. I just love the game. I love everything about it, everything everything surrounding it. I love how much the fans love the Mariners. And seeing them out here, seeing them tonight, 40,000+ cheering them on tonight, and how passionate they are about the Mariners. And I'm super excited when Cal Raleigh comes to the plate, because I'm guessing he's going to get a giant standing O tonight.
Yeah.
It's all those moments during the course of the year that I just love, and I can't wait for tonight, and I can't wait for Game 2. I can't wait for Game 3. I love it.
Well, we will let you go get ready for tonight.
All right.
He is Mariners broadcaster Gary Hill. Gary, thanks for taking the time.
Gary. Anytime.
Appreciate it. Let's get to 4 down territory.
This is 4 down territory, going inside the game. What former Seahawks and Coug wide receiver Michael Bumpus.
First down, the NFL's trying to clean up the game, but what's that mean? What do they want to emphasize, and how do you feel about it?
Man, they trying to make the game soft. I'm just playing. No. They want to emphasize sportsmanship, which I'm good with that. I think sportsmanship in football looks a bit different, right? It's not taking cheap shots, dapping your opponent up after the game. It's all that stuff. But when I read the article and looked at the picture, it was a big defensive lineman helping up, of course, Pat Mahomes. And I'm like, look, man, you got to set a good example for these young kids out there. But the fact of the matter is, football is violent. And if you could hear the things that are said on a football field, you might question one's sanity at times. You have to be on edge at all times when you play that football game. Now, there are some positions that don't require that, right? You want your quarterback to be composed or whatnot. You want your center to be composed before the snap. He's got things to figure out. But it was just the presentation of sportsmanship just made me kind of just cringe a little bit, because I'm like, yeah, that's not football. These guys are borderline crazy out there. They play with a passion that I don't think any other sport requires, because it's not as controlled as other sports. So, yeah, man, NFL, I get you. But when you write that article and you have a big old defensive lineman helping Pat Mahomes up off the turf, and it just rubbed me the wrong way. The game will never be as soft as you want it to be. It's football. It's violent. Just get used to it.
Second down. It's football. Get used to it. What's an issue about replay assist the league isn't up for changing? Do you think they should?
Yeah, so here's the deal with replay assist. When a referee calls a foul on the field, then they can go upstairs to confirm or deny that situation. But if a foul is not called, the assist upstairs cannot phone in or call in, page, whatever they do, and say, hey, you might want to take a look at this. And I disagree with that. I think that it shouldn't be able to go down throughout the duration of the game, but maybe the last 3 to 5 minutes, you want to get some things right, because we've seen face masks not be called. We've seen pass interference not be called. We've seen a bunch of stuff. So I'm not saying that the referee upstairs should be such a big part of the game, but when it's crucial, when it's crunch time and you want to get things right, go ahead and make the call. What I don't want is the referee, the white hat down on the field, to run off to the sideline, look at the review, have a conversation upstairs. No, just let the guy upstairs make the call. He is now the white hat from minutes 3 to 5 left in the game. So that's what I want to see. And the more assists they have, the better in those times. We're watching March Madness, and there's almost too much assisting going on at the end of those games.
Yeah.
So I don't want that. But I do think there is a time and a place for that. And I like to see it.
You know what I hate about the end of those games too, and I understand why they do it, I get it, but you don't really get always, even in close games, the build-up you normally want, like of the back and forth, and that's going to happen at any level of basketball, because you're going to get a little more physical, and they're going to call it, and they're going to try to play it close, but God, sometimes with the March Madness games, you're like, I want this classic moment.
Yeah.
Like, I want
Let
this,
it flow.
hit a 3 when we're least expecting. And sometimes you get that, hey, back in play, 2 seconds on the clock, we'll see what happens. But it's just so much stoppage.
Yeah.
I hate it. Third down. What sneaky signing do you think will help a quarterback get over the hump?
With all the stuff that's been going down, we're focused on the Seahawks and what they're doing and what they're not doing. I failed to realize that Joey Bosa is now on the Bills. And I really like this for the Bills. Last year, they have 39 sacks as a team. That's something around like 15th in the league. Only had 2 sacks in the AFC Championship game against the Chiefs. You need someone to get after those quarterbacks in the AFC. And I think Joey Bosa is going to be a great addition. The thing with him is, can he stay healthy? In 2022, he played 5 games of 23, 9 games last year, 24 games. When he plays 13, 14-plus games, he's a Pro Bowler. He is an all-pro type of guy. So can he stay healthy is going to be the question. When you look at the Bills' offense, Josh Allen runs that. I hope they get him another receiver to go with Keon Coleman and keep building there. defensively, when they were in their prime, they had 2 really good safeties. They had Edmonds at linebackers. They had names that you know and recognize. I think this would be a tremendous game for the Bills, man. Like I said, you have the best quarterbacks in the game in the AFC, and you got to be able to get after them. If Joey Bosa can stay healthy, which is a big if, right? He hasn't played a full season in like 4 or 5 years. He can contribute. So, yeah, I like that signing. I think his personality, his style, it fits in Buffalo, and let's see if they can get it done.
4th down. What's a trait about an athlete you mentioned is necessary, and who do you think needs to live in that place right now?
Athletes have to be delusional about who they are at times. They have to be convinced that I am the greatest of all time, or I am elite. I can get through whatever tough patch that I'm going through. All is well, and Russell Wilson is the perfect example of that. I've never seen him have a bad day. I saw him get yelled at on the sidelines by Sean Payton and just walk away and clap it and say, hey, we're good to go. And he's going to need that in New York. You and I had discussions about how we assume the media is going to handle Russell Wilson, and we think they'll be a bit softer on him because they realize he's just a bridge guy at this point. But we also know that it can get a bit shady over there in New York with the media. They're going to ask you some certain questions. They're going to be aggressive. They're going to be in your face. So Russell just has to continue to be delusional. He needs to think that he is 2016 Russell. Now, he doesn't need to throw the ball down the field like he's 2016 Russell and try to make all those huge plays. But going onto the football field, he has to feel like that he is still elite. And I think he's one of the best at doing that, man. So I'm looking at Russell, and you keep on doing your thing, brother. I'm rooting for you. It's going to be tough in New York. You're probably going to win 4 games, but stay positive. Stay delusional.
What is something that you might still be thinking? I think he could still have this. Like, Russ can't be as mobile as he was. It's going to be hard for him to be as confident as he was because he doesn't have as much to draw on. But is there something still to his game where you go, you know what, I can see why a team would want him as a great backup, or like he's still got this?
And it's almost the worst compliment you can give somebody. Curtis, we say this all the time. He's a competitor. He competes when he's pretty.
Dog in him.
Yeah, I mean, he's got that.
He does.
His arm isn't the same. If he can just make good decisions, he'll be fine. He knows how to run an offense.
I know that so many people towards the end of Russell's time here, and most especially when he was with Denver, wondered not just like, was he ever that great, but like they didn't like what they felt was inauthenticity, which I understand. But one thing I think was genuine, real about Russ is the same thing I think was real about Pete Carroll. Genuinely the 2 most competitive people, maybe not that I've ever covered, but insanely competitive people, and that wasn't just fake.
Yeah.
Like, that wasn't them pretending that they cared more about winning than anything else.
And can we just believe that that is exactly who Russell Wilson is, though?
That is who he is.
If he's faking it, that's a good 10, 12 years of him faking that personality. That is hard to do.
Give him the Oscar.
You're going to slip up eventually.
Let's see what's on tonight.
What's on tonight with Bump and Stacy, brought to you by Caesars Sportsbook at Muckleshoot. Now, here's what's on tonight.
It's opening night, duh.
Doy.
No, Doy. I haven't heard that in a minute.
Pre-game starts at 6 p.m. First pitch between the Mariners and A's is at 7:10 p.m. Logan Gilbert on the mound. That's right here on Seattle Sports. Hype Train coming your way next.
It's opening day. The 2025 Seattle Mariners season is here. Catch all the action here on Seattle Sports. Your home for the Mariners and opening day.
Music that moves your soul. Live at Muckleshoot Event Center, Thursday, April 24th. Get tickets before they sell out at muckleshootcasino.com.
Window Nation customers have been singing our praises for years. With fast, local service and an industry-leading 96% customer satisfaction rating, it's no wonder.
I researched window companies for the last year to see what the average prices were and the quality of work. Window Nation nailed both.
Get 2 windows free with every 2 you buy. Pay no interest for 2 full years. Hurry, this offer ends soon. Schedule a free estimate now. Call 866-90-NATION or visit windownation.com. That's 866-90-NATION.
So I formed Davis Law Group about 30 years ago, and I would get, the same questions from people about what to do in the case of an accident. Do you need a lawyer? To the point where I decided that I would at least write a book which would answer the common questions that I would receive as a lawyer. Once I wrote my first book, it proved to be hugely popular. I decided to write then a series of books in different accident cases so that we could really teach people about their rights, how to protect them, and how to decide on whether they need a lawyer and what lawyer to hire. I've found in my career that having a client that is educated and knowledgeable about their particular type of case really helps the client and also usually ends up making the case or the claim more successful. To get your free copy of any of my Washington accident books, visit WashingtonAccidentBooks.com.
Protein, protein, protein. Everyone is trying to get protein in their diet, but we need fats too. Healthy fat, that is, like the rich, natural peanut and almond butters found in G2G protein bars. Most bars don't have it because, well, most bars aren't real food or refrigerated. Fortunately for you, we aren't most bars. At G2G, you'll find a balanced helping of protein and healthy fat. The fact that they're delicious is just the bonus. They're fast, easy, and perfect for on-the-go families. G2G protein bars. Find them in the refrigerated section at Costco.
Febreze. It's a classic odor tale. You fried fish for dinner, cleaned up, but the smell is still in the house. And the neighbors are coming over for game night. They're on their way. And then you spray Febreze Air Mist. Febreze Air starts working instantly to fight even your toughest odors, so you go from fish to fresh like that. Now, all you have to worry about is Pam cheating at charades.
Breathe happy, Febreze, la 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 la.
These days, figuring out what, where, and how to watch TV is out of control. And so is the cost. That's why I'm psyched I found Philo. Live TV from A&E, Discovery, MTV, and all the channels I love. A huge library of movies and shows, and an unlimited DVR to save them. I also get AMC Plus and all their blockbuster hits. All this for just $28 a month when you sign up at philo.tv. Give it a try, risk-free at philo.tv.
For Down Territory, going inside the game with Michael Bumpus.
I like this. More quarterbacks should start doing this.
Every day at 11:15 and 1:15 on Bumpin' Stacy.
To me, the LJ way is to provide an experience that people really enjoy being a part of. And they enjoy being a part of it because they're getting great service. They're talking with somebody that actually they feel cares about them. They care about what their impression is going to be walking away. It's also understanding you're now part of our family, and thank you for doing the business with us. And this is how we're going to show our appreciation through customer service. We're going to show our appreciation with taking care of you if you ever have an issue. Majority of the people that are coming to see us are within our community. These are people who are providing maybe services that we also use in our community. So the LJ way, to me, somebody can come into a retail setting and not feel like they got to have their guard up. And that's been a long-standing thing in the car business that, we've tried to shake.
The LJ way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
Cars for Kids, KARS, Cars for Kids, 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
When buying a battery, most people don't know one brand from another. And brands don't start things, watts do. And who remembers that volts times amps equals watts anyway? At Pacific Power Batteries, you're buying a battery from someone who you can trust. Lately, we've been working hard on our product knowledge so that you don't have to remember all that you may have forgotten about Ohm's Law. Studying vendors' strong points helps us find a battery that's right for you. And at Pacific Power Batteries, that's not artificial intelligence. That's useful information.
This hour is brought to you by Mazda of Everett.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Before we get to Hype Train, tonight's line lineup is out. Curtis, you described it as everyone has a
Yeah.
Okay.
First 5 guys.
You want to run through it? Do you want to run through it with the
Robles.
Okay.
Julio Rodriguez. Cal Raleigh. Randy Arozarena. And then Luke Raley at DH.
not as fun with
no.
well, until you get to batter 9.
Right.
Okay.
We got Jorge Polanco at third, Rowdy Tellez at first, Ryan Bliss at second, and then J.P. Crawford at shortstop. So interesting to see Tellez get the start at first base, Raley at DH tonight.
Yes. And also, obviously, we all knew Logan on the mound, but talking with Gary, we're all very, very excited to see what he's going to do tonight. And I am very, very excited for opening day. In fact, we have all Mariners theme hype trains, so let's head to the station now. Let's start with Logan for our first one. Bump, Curtis, what do we call a shutout?
Shutty.
That's exactly right. And we don't care if everyone hates it. No one really hates it. No one.
Someone does.
Bob.
Bob does, but that's okay. We love Bob. Logan goes at least 7 shutty tonight. Quite the opening day. Bump, you boarding this train?
You know, I'm all about the good vibes. I'm all about seeing young Seattleites. Oh, he's not. Yeah, I guess he is. We're claiming him. Have success. And I think we just need to see this, man. It's a big ask, you know, but I think it's going to go down. If you ask me anything right now about the Mariners, I'm probably going to, and it's positive, I'm probably going to say yeah.
Logan's winning a Cy Young, and Julio's going to be MVP. Boarding.
I'm on that guy. I'm on.
Logan goes at least 7 shutty tonight against the A's. First opening day. Curtis, you boarding this train?
Well, Logan won't go 7 shutty, but Walter will. So we're boarding this train. It's absolutely happening.
There we go.
Logan Gilbert definitely getting 7 shutty tonight against the A's ball club. It's preordained. It's going to happen. Mariners are winning tonight. I mean,
I feel it too.
Yeah.
I feel it. I feel it, brother.
Yeah. It really stings. It's like a 6-1 game. A's win.
Ian, you boarding too? Join us.
Yeah, I'm all in it. I'm going to the game today, so I got to be in it.
Fantastic. Okay, next type train into the station. For Bump and Curtis on Friday, they get donuts or lunch. They're choosing, but only if this happens. Rowdy Tellez hits the first home run of the season, and it's in the 4th inning. Bump. I need you to answer honestly.
Here's the thing.
Okay, exactly.
Like,
That's how I know Bump's not boarding a train.
You never leave your boy hanging.
No.
You just don't
You
do
don't.
that.
You don't.
You just
Believe
don't do
this.
it. So because I cannot leave my guy hanging, you already know the deal.
Now, hang on, Ian. Don't you
Rowdy,
dare.
4th inning. Let's get it.
That's right.
And we're going to make a nice video about this. Justin, I need you to clip this when this is all said and done because Curtis called it and it's going down.
You don't think anyone else might do it?
Nah, it's only him.
Okay.
That's it.
You don't think anyone might do it before the 4th?
No.
Okay. Curtis.
Marine layer, you know. 4th inning is when it opens up.
Rowdy hits the first home run of the season, and it's in the 4th.
Yeah, we're boarding this train. It's going to go just past that Muckleshoot Casino Resort ad out there in right field.
See that big screen right there?
Yeah.
It's going to go just past
Banging
that.
off of that. No, but yeah, Rowdy Tellez will hit the first home run of the season in the 4th inning. It's going to happen. I'm so sure of it. I just feel it. I got a vibe a couple days ago, and we're riding with it.
God, what if it does happen?
I mean,
it's going to.
Yeah.
It's what it's going to be.
Next up. Now, someone that I think could hit the first home run of the season, and I got to be honest, this place is going to lose their mind. Well, they're going to lose their minds no matter who hits this home run, but everyone wants to see it from this guy. It's Julio. This is not about Julio's first, second, third, fourth, fifth home run of the season. Julio is going to have the year we're all hoping, at least in home run total. He's going to hit more than 30 in 2025. Bump.
He's going to hit 33, and one of them is going to get robbed, so it's going to be 33. It should have been 34, but it's going to be 33.
Very specific, but I can kind of see it
One's
happening.
going to be robbed. So, yeah, man, Julio, good vibes. Fofo. What's up, man? Show me something.
4-4 hits 30-plus in 2025. Curtis, are you boarding?
I feel like his home run swing has been working early in the season.
Yeah.
He hit 5 in the Cactus League, which is not a number that he's ever really come close to at that point. So hopefully we see it early and often. He's out here taking some swings right now, actually. I think Julio does get more than 30 home runs this season. I think he finishes with, let's go with 31.
Okay. I'm going to go with 31, too, because it's my birthday.
Oh, May 31st.
Yes. But speaking of the early months of the season, I'm going to throw in an extra hype train tied on to this one for you guys. I think that Julio's career total of home runs in April is like 6.
Yeah, career.
Are you boarding the train that he hits 5 bombs by May 1st?
I told you at the beginning of the segment what my approach was. And I'm sticking
Why am
to
I
it.
asking?
I'm sticking to it. Yes, I'm on the train. You know
Curtis,
what's up.
are you following Bump's approach? You can't leave your boy hanging?
Yeah, absolutely. We're boarding that train. It's funny how baseball is. Like, there's no other sport where you have this much optimism on the first day.
Yeah,
Like,
no matter what your team looks like. There are White Sox fans that are like, yo, listen.
yeah, like
I'm just saying.
we could win 60 games this year. Like
62.
You don't need Louise, actually.
Yeah.
Like NFL fans, like week 1, you're kind of like, maybe 8-9 wins is a possibility. Hey, what college football? Hey, just get us to a bowl game. Baseball, it's like, hey, I see a playoff run here. I could definitely see it. You just got to get like 8 guys hitting 30 home runs.
Yeah.
Your whole pitching staff has an ERA sub 3. Let's do it.
I'm forgetting that we're actually live here at T-Mobile, quite literally in the Mariners radio booth. Bump, you want to help me set the scene for folks? I can't tell who's hitting right now. Whose swing is that?
Is that Luke Raley?
I think it's Luke Raley.
Yeah,
Luke.
You got Julio. So Luke in the cage right now. Julio's off to the side. They're getting some BPN, talking with, it looks like Edgar. I can't tell completely who's behind the cage, but a bunch of hitting coaches. Maybe Kevin
Mitch
Seitzer.
Garver there. He's in the blue T-shirt.
Okay, we got.
Me and him got the same hairline.
Yeah, we got Mitch out there. My guy Mitch, Rayleigh, taking some BP, and then Julio getting ready to get back in there. Anyway, setting the scene for you guys so you can feel like you're out here too. Know what these guys are working on right now before you guys get out to the game. Next up. I would love this. I would love for this to be true. And here's the thing. This is the one out of everything we've said tonight that I think is most possible.
Mm-hmm.
The Mariners will have at least 3 All-Stars.
That's low. It's pretty low.
Wow.
I think
Bump, you're on one.
the
with
greatest
so
rotation known to man is going to get 3 on their own. And then there's going to be Julio. And, of course, Kyle's going to get in as well. We're going to see some historic things from this group this year. Good vibes. Good vibe. Ask me again in a couple months, and I might feel differently. But only good vibes from me today. Opening day. The bunting is out.
The bunting. The Mariners will have at least 3 All-Stars in 2025. Curtis.
I'm stunned that Cal Raleigh has never made an All-Star team, considering
know.
the run that he's been on the last 3 years, especially with the home run prowess.
You know how
imagine him in a home run derby.
Imagine him in a Yankee uniform.
No, I don't have to now.
He'd be an All-Star.
Yeah,
He'd
that's
be an
true.
All-Star.
Let's not do that, though.
Okay, you're right.
I don't have to imagine him in one
bad,
anymore because he's going to be here for 6 more years. I think he gets in. I think Julio gets in. Julio is he's never won a home run derby, and he has like 2 of the most jaw-dropping performances ever in that.
Yeah.
I think you see at least 2 starting pitchers. So, yeah, we're boarding this train. I think they get at least 4. Not just 3. I think at least 4.
You know the craziest thing about Julio not winning that home run derby? You would never know it.
Right.
His first home run derby, because it was Juan Soto. Was it Juan Soto?
Yeah.
And, I remember going to MLB.com after. I was, getting some notes, and it's one of, the 7 websites I visit every single day to get stuff. And it was Julio on the front.
Mm-hmm.
And you would never know.
Right.
Never know that he didn't win.
Well, and then when he did it here in Seattle, he set the single round record.
Yeah.
With 41, I think.
And then just kind of was like, I'm tired.
Yeah, he's like, hey, I've done what I need.
I don't know what to tell you guys.
Fanboy I've ever been.
What?
I was here watching that go down. I was the most fanboy moment of my life.
Was the second most fanboy when you talked about being here when Cal did hit the home run to send them to the playoffs?
Actually,
and didn't you say you hugged someone you didn't know?
Yeah, Julio's 2, Cal's 1. I looked to my right and saw this about $180. I can lift him up. Let's go.
Get your questions in for What I Need to Know, 866-979-3776.
It's opening day. The 2025 Seattle Mariners season is here. Catch all the action here on Seattle Sports. Your home for the Mariners and opening day.
Who has some of the best deals on new Fords and Isuzus in the Pacific Northwest? Wayscar Ford in Auburn. Who has a large selection of the highest quality used vehicles in the Pacific Northwest? That would be Wayscar Ford in Auburn. What dealership promises no games, no gimmicks, and never any pressure to purchase? You're getting good at this. It's Wayscar Ford in Auburn. Who's the only Ford dealer in all of Washington State to offer a 5-day or 500-mile, no questions asked, 100% money-back return policy? Wayscar Ford in Auburn. Who offers a free lifetime powertrain warranty on virtually all their new Fords? And who's the only Ford dealer that will purchase your used car, pay you right up front, and then once they resell your old car, return 50% of the profit back to you? In fact, this dealer has already given back over $750,000 to customers who have sold them their cars. That's right, it's Wayscar Ford in Auburn. Finally, what dealership has been family-owned and operated in Auburn for 103 years? You guessed it, Wayscar Ford in Auburn, wayscarford.com.
Discover LeMay, America's car museum in Tacoma. Explore 300 world-class cars, 100 years of history, and the Shinka exhibit with 50 iconic Japanese sports cars. Thrilling race simulators and fun for the whole family. Visit americascarmuseum.org.
Hey, it's Jason Rantz. Our local tax expert Greg Nunn wants taxpayers to know the IRS is now going after older cases very aggressively. If you received Form CP-504 from the IRS, do not ignore it. Be proactive and resolve your situation with Greg Nunn, N-U-N-N, None Better Tax Resolution.
Over the past decade, Washington state politicians have doubled state spending with no improvements to the issues we care about. Instead, we now have the third highest cost of living in the nation and a $12 billion deficit. It's time to tell legislators we need better results, not bigger taxes. Act now at affordablewashington.org. Paid for by people for an affordable Washington and Olympia, Washington. Top 5 donors are Washington Alliance for Competitive Economy, Microsoft, Madrona, T-Mobile, and Alaska Air.
Attention tax accountants. The following message is for you. Tax season is here, and if you're an accounting firm, the pressure is on. Long hours and tight deadlines make this time of year a challenge for even the most seasoned tax professionals. But this tax season, Blue Jay has your back. Powered by generative AI, Blue Jay is the preferred partner solution of CPA.com for tax research. Ask a complex tax question, and Blue Jay gives you better tax answers in seconds. Save time, maximize your clients' refunds with high-speed, accurate, and intuitive AI technology. Built with a library of only the most trusted tax resources, updated daily to keep up with changes in tax. For a limited time, save 40% off at bluejay.com/start now. That's BLUE, the letter J.com/start now. Or text BLUE to 511-511. Save 40% by texting BLUE to 511-511. Tax accountants don't leave money on the table. Stress less and text BLUE to 511-511 today. Tax fees may apply.
Bonneville International radio station contests are open to participants 18 years of age or older that are residents of Washington State unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contests are not eligible to win unless the station otherwise specifies at its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 60 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available on seattlesports.com or in person at the station during regular business hours.
We are Seattle Sports, the home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
Watch your favorite show live at seattlesports.com.
Bob Stelton here for Asset Roofing, and they have got the perfect slogan. You're either hiring a liability or you're hiring an asset, and I witnessed this firsthand when I met Anthony, the owner, and again when I had him do work on my roof. Now this spring, replace your aging roof with Asset Roofing because you're either hiring a liability or you're hiring an asset. Check them out at AssetRoofingCo.com. That's AssetRoofingCo.com.
Certified work that's never in doubt. Asset Roofing, excellence is on the house.
Washington State ranks number 5 in the country for auto theft. The most high-risk vehicles are Kia, Hyundai, Ford F-150, F-250, and F-350. Help keep your car safe with these simple and important tips. Don't leave your car running unattended. Park in well-lit areas. Lock up every time. Keep valuables out of sight. Use an anti-theft device like a steering wheel lock. Share this information with friends and family. Prevent the theft and keep you and your vehicle safe. These tips brought to you by the Washington Auto Theft Prevention Authority.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is for you too. Stubborn fat is really hard to get rid of, and then there's all those gimmicky lasers, fat freezing methods, and prescriptions. Imagine a simple solution that takes just one day and provides immediate noticeable results. Introducing ProSculpt. ProSculpt uses air-assisted technology that's safe and gentle yet powerful, delivering instant fat-reducing and skin-tightening results. Performed by board-certified plastic surgeons while fully awake, ProSculpt contours your body with minimal downtime. It's designed to target those problem areas: waistline, neck, face, arms, thighs. ProSculpt gently removes unwanted fat and tightens loose skin with FDA-cleared plasma technology, all in a simple, guaranteed one-day procedure. ProSculpt is one and done. Schedule your free consultation at prosculpt.com for $250 off. For powerful permanent fat removal and skin tightening that works for ladies and you men, it's prosculpt.com.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
It's what I need to know. Get your questions in now. It's also Mariners opening day. Lots of Mariners questions on the Mac and Jack's text line. 866-979-3776. What I need to know. Let's see. Is it ever okay? First is a non-sports question. Is it ever okay to sit in front of an Uber if you ask? I feel rude just getting in the back, like I'm too good to be seen with my driver. I love that. Honestly, can I say, like, when Uber, I think that for people that have had Uber in your life for a really long time, you don't think of it. When I first started using Uber, and still sometimes, I feel so weird getting right into the back of someone's car. Like, I'm just like, you're a taxi.
You are.
They are. It's
I know.
a ride share.
It feels. I see what our texter's saying though. Like I get it.
Nah, I'm in the back. I think it's weird if you get in the front.
Yeah, I'm right there with Bob.
Now I go, like, if I get an Uber now, you'll have like drivers that are like they lean the side chair all the way forward to be like, you're not sitting there.
I equate to getting in the front seat of an Uber to being like taking the urinal next to a guy in the bathroom, where it's like, dude, you had all this other space to pick from.
And honestly, most of the time where I get an Uber, I'm out of town. I might have had a few to drink. I don't want to talk to nobody. Just get me to the hotel and we're good.
I have a urinal question. If you go into a bathroom and there's 3 urinals, is it kind of like a gas station where it's rude to block? Like you have to go, like let's say it's completely empty.
You go to the furthest
You go
one,
to the
left or
wall.
right.
Okay, you cannot go to the middle urinal.
No.
Have you ever gone to the, like, that
sure
feels like it would be wildly, that feels like I'm just now realizing that would probably be socially weird.
I'm sure I have gone to the middle.
Yeah,
but
you can't do
you
it.
go to the side.
You're right.
Yeah.
You inconvenience someone else.
You look side first.
Yeah. No, I totally get it. Yeah. Wow, I've never thought about this before.
Never have.
Someone said sitting in the front of an Uber is a power move.
Is it?
That's what this person says.
It's a very type A personality kind of thing.
Or a car sickness person.
Maybe, yeah, that too, but you're only going for like, most Uber rides are probably what, like 10, 15 minutes tops?
Yeah. Bump, number 2 on top, skin on the sides. What do you do?
What?
I think they're wondering what you get for bumps. Just
just
clean, bro.
To the skin.
Let's see. For those of us not in the know, what is the Alt 22?
Or all 22.
Oh, all 22. I was like, what is Alt 22?
It's when you, it's like coaches film and you see the whole field from safety to like 10 yards behind the quarterback so you can see what everyone's doing.
And is honestly, and Bump, I know you'll co-sign, a better way if you're going to be super critical of quarterback play too, because you can see how a play unfolds. So obviously the cameras follow the ball, so you'll be like, what are you doing? When you watch a play unfold, you'll be like, oh, this guy,
That's why I hate going to bars watching the game and Bobby's dad is saying, throw the ball, throw the ball. I go, what are the safeties doing?
Yeah.
Like, you don't know what's going on.
One of my favorite things during the football week is watching you and Lyman and like all the other guys involved in the Seahawks broadcast. Hey, man, you got the all 22? Like, just
it's a drug.
Addicts, yeah. Can I get a hit of that?
God. What I need to know. What's a bad habit? I like this one. What's a bad habit you had as a kid that you never grew out of?
Bad habit I had as a kid. You know what? You can tell if I've been in a room. Something's gonna be out of place. It's not gonna be
you knock
where
something over.
Like something.
I was like,
not necessarily
what do you
knock something
mean?
Over, I'm gonna leave something.
Yeah.
Like, my mom
You leave
used
a
to
paper
say-
trail.
My mom used to say,
chaos.
"Oh, hurricane bump came through here."
Okay.
And I move things. Yeah, I'll go back and pick it up later. But in the moment, I'm
gonna start noticing it now. Curtis, what about you?
I don't know. Like bad habits that I had as a kid that I never grew out of.
Mine's being loud and interrupting. The interrupting is so hard, especially for like a largely male audience. You guys don't understand. I am trying to get better at it. Me, my mom, and my sister sound like this. Curtis, start talking.
Hey, Bump.
Oh my God! So what I was saying, and then you keep going, and we're talking at each other at the same time.
I would say
the hardest thing.
Side talking. I was a side talker in middle school and high school, not to the point where I was like, loud or anything.
Yeah.
But if I'm in like a big meeting where like sitting in the back, no one notices me, person next to me will be like, get a load of that. Look at front row over there.
What I need to know, first of all, the entire text line is just talking about urinal etiquette.
What are they saying? Give us something.
Okay, so someone said people who go to the middle urinal are people who want to watch the world burn.
Dang.
Someone else said there's a whole restroom algorithm for fellas.
Facts.
Yeah, because there's not, that same thing doesn't quite exist. The only thing I can think of with women is in a crowded restroom, when people are actually going to the bathroom, going to wash their hands, when you're sitting there just doing your makeup, it's rude. You know what I mean? Like, I know you're in front of a mirror, but you can see that now there's like one sink in play. That's the only thing I can think of.
So what do
where
you just pick up your stuff and wait until it's empty again?
Well, yeah, I mean, you can't sit there and like do your makeup and do a bunch of stuff in front of a mirror for a long time when other people are literally trying to wash their hands so they can leave.
Yeah,
but
makes
there's
sense.
it's not quite the same. You know what I mean? Like if I go to a stall, the door's shut, it's not. Yeah, I didn't realize there was urinal algorithm.
Yep.
Let's see, 866-979-3776. What I need to know. Let me get a couple other ones in here. Someone said, okay, this is a little tougher, so you can just say over under 500 or close. What do you predict the Mariners' record will be at the end of the homestand May 14th with the Yankees?
May 14th. What'd I say after the first month? I said 5 games over after the first month, being ambitious.
Keep it consistent.
I'll go. They'll drop a couple.
Why the
Let's go
Yankees
3.
home series?
Maybe because
Big Dave Sims fans. The text line there.
Yeah. Let's see. 866-979-3776. What I need to know. Will Ichiro's opening pitch tonight be a strike?
Oh, he's throwing a heater. He's throwing. I think it's gonna touch 80s for sure.
Oh yeah.
Ichiro don't play with.
He's long tossing right now.
Yeah. Ichiro don't play. Man.
Oh,
he's out there in right center field.
Is.
He's ready to go.
Oh my God. Are you guys bold enough, says a listener, to call the first sweep of the season?
Wow.
This one.
It's a 4-game series too.
4 games. A mop.
A mop.
A mop. Are you brave enough?
A's are a quality opponent. That's gonna be.
Ian, are you
tough to
calling
pull
a
off.
mop for this one?
Not this early in the season, no.
Okay, wow, you guys are cowards.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you're calling it?
I'll call it right now.
All right.
Yeah.
There you go.
We'll make another donut bet.
Ain't nobody taking that one.
I am.
A mop?
If they don't do it. So you guys get 2 choices.
You're crazy.
I have a problem.
You
It
know-
only costs $10.
You know, we were talking about crazy hitting drills. Watch what Randy Arozarena is doing right now. He is tucking a basketball in between his forearm and bicep and then swinging a bat with it.
Makes sense.
Oh, Justin, are we allowed to take pictures of that for Seattle Sports?
Keep them hands inside.
Yeah.
Man.
Honestly,
Keep them
Bump, I
hands
think
inside.
you were right.
telling you,
Baseball
man.
players do the weirdest exercises. Wait,
Baseball
describe what
players.
Randy's doing right now. He's holding it in the nook of his elbow.
Yeah, it makes
Get in
sense
the right
though.
position. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, he's still smacked
He's
the warning
ready!
track.
Wow. God, imagine being that strong. This is like when you're on the sideline. It isn't quite like it, but being on the sideline of an NFL game for the first time, I didn't do until I was like 8 years in as a reporter, and I was like, oh my God.
Feel the force.
These guys could kill you. Running full speed. We're out of here, but you guys are obviously not done with opening day coverage. Wyman and Bob, great show coming your way next.
It's opening day. The 2025 Seattle Mariners season is here. Catch all the action here on Seattle Sports. Your home for the Mariners and opening day.
Was drafted in 1999 by the Philadelphia 76ers, and that was just absolutely a dream come true.
Todd's playing in the NBA is unique. His battle with neuropathy is not.
I first started noticing problems a couple years into my NBA career, and I felt like my sock was just balled up right in the arch of my foot, and there'd be areas of burning and tingling, and then there'd be other areas of deadness where there would be no response response to touch. We tried everything possible from surgery to different drugs to try and take care of some of the symptoms.
I'm Dr. Mark Shelley, a chiropractic physician and board-certified functional neurologist at Sound Pain Solutions. Our neuropathy treatments can rehabilitate damaged nerves. We use FDA-cleared, non-surgical, non-drug, pain-free procedures that have helped thousands of neuropathy sufferers find relief.
Now I'm able to spend more time doing the things that I enjoy, being on my feet.
If you experience numbness, shooting, or burning pains, or loss of balance, call us. Sound Pain Solutions, 855-996-0025, or click soundpainsolutions.com.
We've all been there, sleepless nights, wondering if your business's security service is really protecting what matters. At Bay Alarm, we can put your security insecurities to bed. Our advanced technology and personalized support ensure you can rest easy knowing we're here for you. BayAlarm.com.
Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest. The best place to watch all your favorite sports. Featuring wall-to-wall viewing screens, 6 windows, and 30 kiosks. Be there at emeraldqueen.com. Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest.
Window Nation customers have been singing our praises for years. With fast local service and an industry-leading 96% customer satisfaction rating, it's no wonder.
I researched window companies for the last year to see what the average prices were and the quality of work. Window Nation nailed both.
Get 2 windows free with every 2 you buy. Pay no interest for 2 full years. Hurry, this offer ends soon. Schedule a free estimate now. Call 866-90-NATION or visit windownation.com. That's 866-90-NATION.
Endless hours of research, seeking referrals, dozens of calls. Hiring the right attorney can be a challenging process during an already difficult time. J.P. Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains.
In Washington State, Tom, there are thousands of attorneys to choose from. Referrals and online research can be helpful, but discovering the right attorney requires a conversation. It can be hard to identify integrity and authenticity without that interaction.
So, what do you recommend?
We encourage anyone looking for personal injury representation to call for a free consultation with our team before making a decision simply based on referrals or online research. Accident victims need an attorney that listens, demonstrates honesty, and is genuinely understanding of their unique circumstances. The care, attention, and preparation that our firm provides throughout the case mirrors the effort involved when taking on the insurance companies.
Save time and avoid mistakes after an injury. Contact the caring and compassionate team at Pendergast Law.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
Meanwhile, at Xfinity. So, influencer life going well?
Oh, yeah. I'm up to 32 followers.
Oh, that's something.
Yeah, posting my tap dancing videos is easier than ever because we engineered Xfinity Internet with 99.99% network reliability.
Plus, Xfinity Mobile with Wi-Fi Power Boost gives you ultra-fast Wi-Fi at home and on the go. But wait, tap dancing? You don't tap dance.
Hey, what I lack in skill, I make up with passion.
Do more of what you love and love how fast you do it with Xfinity Internet and mobile. And now through April 21st, get 300 megabit Xfinity Internet and 1 unlimited mobile line together for $25 a month for 1 year and save $1,000 in your first year over Verizon and AT&T. Learn more at Xfinity.com. Requires paperless billing and autopay with stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. After promo, regular rates apply. Savings compared to Verizon 5G Internet plus 1 unlimited welcome line and AT&T Internet 300 plus 1 unlimited starter SL line. Xfinity Internet required. Actual speeds vary. Reduced speeds after 30 gigabits of usage per line. Data thresholds and actual savings vary.
Confidence is knowing you're ready to handle whatever comes your way. That's what it feels like to take on your workday with Cintas. They make sure your AEDs are up to date, your fire extinguishers are tested and inspected, your floor mats are cleaned and delivered, and your workwear looks good, feels good, and is freshly laundered with a Cintas Apparel Plus program. So are you ready to take on today? Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
With Progressive's collision coverage, my family gets up to $1,000 for vet bills if I'm injured in a car accident. And that makes this Chihuahua really feel like part of the family. What's that? I don't sound like a Chihuahua? Oh, I'm sorry. What exactly am I supposed to sound like? I guess all Chihuahuas are high-strung, riding around in expensive designer purses. Actually, I prefer riding in cars. So I appreciate that my family protects me with Progressive's pet collision coverage. Okay,